Hey, J Hops. Okay, thanks, J Hops. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the heart me, Gigi. Yeah, you're really early. How long has it been? 1 minute, 2 minutes? Good luck with not submitting to a man. It's been serving me very well so far. So don't need luck, just need not to submit to a man. That would be really stupid. Oh, that would be so stupid. Good luck to the women submitting to men. They're the ones who need luck. Actually. That's the real deal. Women shouldn't submit to any. Oh, why did it do that? Well, I mean, I don't think that. I mean, obviously, you have to submit to, law enforcement and your job and things like that. Like, but in like a relationship, no, son. Yeah, J Hop said she's been successful not submitting for a while now. So, Jamie Williamson coming from a woman who's not married. I think you guys should really get some 21st century insults because, hey, love baby, because that one is hundreds of years old, telling women that their value comes from marriage. That's really old. You guys can't even come up with your own insults from 2025. It's really sad. Oh yeah, and see, look at the married women saying they don't submit. So I'm not giving advice. I'm stating a fact. And you must be here listening every day, Stereo.
Hello?
Thanks for joining. Hi, Nervy. Thanks for coming up. What's your age? Hey,
I'm not gonna lie,
Food.
you talk that shit, and the only thing you submit to is a damn fridge, you fat ass piece of shit.
Yeah. So here we have another insecure man. That's what an insecure male looks like. Insecure, lack of emotional intelligence. Like, can you imagine being that sad of a human being? Exactly. Who can imagine spinning to something like that? No, he isn't insecure.
Good
Hi,
afternoon.
Osiris. Thanks for coming up. What's your age? If he had a
20,
point, then he would come up and actually talk about the point, but he has none because he is incapable of forming his own thoughts and opinions. So he has to come up and attempt to insult me. I happen to not care what vile pieces of crap like him think. So I don't care. People like that who have a serious inferiority complex, insecure. I don't care. Hi, Osiris. Thanks for coming up. What's your age?
Thank you for having me. I'm 53.
Okay. Do you disagree with the prompt?
I would disagree with the prompt because I know that there are hundreds of thousands of people who practice poly and dynamics of power exchange. And so for all those women who appreciate those dynamics, I'm wondering why would we suggest they don't practice
Kaylin.
something that they believe in?
Because why would an adult woman need an authority figure in her life?
I can't tell you the psychology for every woman. I can only tell you that it
No, I'm
exists. Yeah.
asking you fundamentally. You're asking me why would I say that women shouldn't do that? And I'm saying why would an adult woman who's cognitively capable of caring for herself, probably has a job, probably has children, may not have children, but she's caring for, even pets, but now she needs an authority figure in her life. So why in the world would a woman need that?
If I could try to understand the psychology of it, I think that there's a level of freedom that comes from
No, I said
surrendering.
need. Why would you need that?
Again, so I'm saying for
Not
some people,
psychology, because
for
it's not
some
a need.
people,
It's not a need. It's a
well,
maybe a desire, but
well,
it's not a need.
I would say that the same way that people need affirmation, and the same way people need the simple sense of acceptance, there comes a level of psychology that some people need, that level of freedom where they can let go and know that they're still taken care of. So for a woman who
That's not
actually
what submission gives you. But that's not what a need is.
actually it does.
A
That's
need
exactly
is
what it gives you.
something. A need is required because it is essential.
Well, again,
So, like food.
if you look at the
Hold on,
hierarchy of
hold
needs,
on. Like food,
correct.
water, shelter.
Above that,
Like
you have
having to submit to somebody is not a need. It may be a desire, but that's not a need.
absolutely it is. If you understand that hierarchy of needs, you'll see that social acceptance is one of those needs.
Okay, but where does submission come into social acceptance?
Ah, okay, good question. Submission fuels that sense of belonging to something greater than yourself and
How
recognizing.
does having an authority figure make you belong to something greater than yourself?
If you were to ask anyone who practices BDSM and understand the submissive side, she wants to be owned by someone. She wants to be cared for and taken care of by someone. She's totally capable of doing it herself. And
So then it's not a need.
at the same time, she still requires that acceptance.
That's
Some
not
women,
a need.
it
If she's
absolutely is.
capable, okay. So let's look up the definition of submit.
No, that's not a need. And you're referring to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but that is to achieve greater fulfillment, like on a hierarchy. But
Correct.
most people never reach the top, which is self actualization. So
Correct.
the lower rungs have to be fulfilled before you can ascend up the ladder. So
Correct. I
in
agree
there,
with you.
submission would not be a need in order for someone to live.
Well, I'm pointing out that we're not talking about a level of survivability. We're talking about that
Well,
higher level
that's
of acceptance. So when we
well,
get
no.
beyond the basic needs,
You're coming up with that. You're determining that is a need, a higher level of acceptance for to be owned by somebody.
some women have that, yes.
That is a desire, and you don't think that the desire to be owned by somebody is a distorted way of viewing life.
I don't personally judge whether it's a distortion. I simply accept
Well,
it
that would
for
go
what it
into
is.
why women shouldn't submit to men.
It's a
Well, I'm saying
key.
I personally don't look at it as a distortion. I
Well,
look at
to
it
be
as I
owned
accept
by
it for
somebody,
correct.
if you don't think slavery is wrong,
I personally think slavery is immoral.
okay, so wrong, immoral is wrong, right?
I'm not judging whether it's right or wrong. I judge it as immoral and unhealthy. If
Okay,
a person if
so
a
if
person wants
slavery, it means you own somebody, someone
mhm,
desiring to be owned would not be immoral.
I would say that anyone who is doing it against their consent is immoral.
I'm saying that you don't think that it takes a certain level of brainwashing, indoctrination, or something similar to that to get to the point where you desire to be owned by somebody.
No, I don't think it requires brainwashing to have that desire.
Okay.
I think that people are socialized, and I think that people grow into a sense of
Yeah,
trauma bonding.
socialized.
Right,
Yeah.
trauma bonding. I think that there are so
Mhm.
many different avenues that lead to why people make that choice. I'm not here to judge whether or not it's right or wrong that you've made that choice. I accept that it is there. I'm not here to judge whether it's right or wrong.
Well,
I
then why
accept
are
that it's
you
there.
here? That's what we're talking about. If
I
you don't,
understand. I
if
came
you
to
cannot
ask
admit,
you.
hold on. If you cannot admit that there has to, you said trauma bonding and socialization. I said indoctrination. If you cannot admit that something went awry somewhere along the way for a human being to desire to be owned by somebody, then we don't have anything to talk about, because that's ridiculous. If we cannot even talk about, you said slavery is immoral, but you won't say it's wrong, which is disturbing. But if you can even say that somebody having the desire to be owned by another person, that something has gone wrong, I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm not blaming them, because most likely it's something that has happened to them to cause them to feel that they have to ingratiate themselves or be dependent upon somebody to ensure that they have like support and love and whatever they're looking for, to the point where they are willing to be owned by somebody. If you don't think that something has gone wrong for somebody to desire that type of relationship or dynamic or whatever in their life, I don't even know. There's nothing else. Did you want to say anything, Gina? Because I don't really have anything else to say, because that's really gross.
Well, I think if we're separating, schmexual activity, because you brought up BDSM, which obviously is a different thing, like, because that's a kink and that's something that we're not talking about. But if we're talking about what Angela's saying in the sense of, losing autonomy and agency as a human being, I think we could maybe find not a better word, but like, if you're saying you don't want to like place judgment on wrong or right, I think, when we talk about psychology, it's maladaptive or
you want to place
adaptive.
wrong or right on the
I would
immorality
say
of
that
slavery.
being owned, I would say is a maladaptive thought process. And, there's something that's going on there. I'm not talking about schmex, y'all can be freaky. I'm just talking about as a human being, like in the world living. I think that if you're saying you can't say that.
What I'm saying is, I totally understand that it's a real thing for people, and because I don't know the core underlying factors that led them to get to that point.
That's not the point. That's not the point, because there could be no, because there could be hundreds of reasons to get to them to the point, as Gina said, a maladaptive like coping mechanism, essentially, right, Gina? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
So there could be lots of reasons. It's not going to be one reason, one like path that leads somebody there, but it's not a healthy form of coping or living. And so I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not blaming the person who, as Gina's talking about, not sexual activity, but somebody who desires to be owned by another person. If you cannot say that something is off with someone desiring to be owned, and then you will not even admit that slavery is wrong, I don't even I think you've gone like too full. What?
So as I was saying, because I do not have an insight as to how people get where they are, I'm not one to condemn that position.
Okay, let me ask this. Okay, so let me ask this: if somebody is going to become,
if he's not going to condemn, if he's not going to condemn the position of slavery, like, what are we even talking about?
Everyone heard me say that I think it's immoral. Everyone heard that.
Yeah, and I said then you would not say if it was wrong.
I can't say it's not about right or wrong. I can't say that.
Goodbye.
All I can say
did
is
you have
I know
anything else
it's
you want to say?
immoral.
it is about right. Well, so then are you saying that, like, if somebody becomes a person that unalives, like a schmurderer, are you saying you can't say that person is right or wrong?
You can unmute Cyrus. Because the thing is, we can't even agree that slavery is wrong. Like, unequivocally wrong. I feel like we can't even build to have like a conversation at this point.
Yeah.
So let's.
So that's why I'm trying to understand. So are you saying because you don't know that person, you can't judge whether they're right or wrong if they're a murderer?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this.
He said it was immoral. Right. He did not say it was wrong. I'm sorry.
Right. So I can say something is immoral.
But I'm asking, would you say that person is right or wrong?
I'm going to say it's immoral. That's the difference. I can say something is immoral.
Okay, so no, you can't say they're right or wrong. Okay, that's crazy.
I can't even. Yeah, he's not coming back either because he's been up here before.
That's crazy.
And I'm blocking him. You can't
No
say
such
slavery
thing,
is
right or wrong. Yeah, we have
unaloof-
men in the
because
comments now.
I'm sorry. Sorry, cosmic or whatever it is. If I draw the line at somebody saying that he cannot say whether slavery is right or wrong, whether unaliving somebody is right or wrong. Like that's just disgusting.
And that's why we have people in genocide right now. You know what I mean? Because people want to get caught up in like wordplay of I can't say if it's right or wrong, moral or immoral, adaptive or maladaptive.
Like I would have to know the
Yeah,
reason
I
as to
can.
why
I can
they're,
tell
they're
you.
enslaving somebody. Like what reason would be acceptable for you to say it's immoral? But like, is it wrong? Well, I'd have to know why. I mean, like, no, I don't have any interest in talking to somebody like that at all, ever again. I mean, somebody has to rationalize it. Lots of people are rationalizing things like that. And that's how you get so like philosophical and like esoteric about like things like this, that it just becomes like you're not talking about actual people. You're just like kind of theorizing and, well, maybe I could see under some certain situations or circumstances. Well, I don't know. I'd have like, no, some things are right or wrong, like black and white, slavery, unaliving people. Those are two of them. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, objects. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, abnormal. Thanks for coming up. What's your age?
30. Just turned 30.
Okay. Do you disagree with the prompt?
Um, I would say as a man who has a daughter, I would agree for her. I would disagree in terms of maybe any relationship before that. I guess I'm a little biased. I would.
Wait, is yes or no? Like, why is your daughter exempt from submitting to men? Like, we're talking about women. Period.
No, I know
So,
that. I'm saying it's a tough position to take one hard side or the other because I know my daughter would be included in that all women. So,
yeah.
I mean, ideally, you wouldn't want your child, man or woman, just to really submit to anyone. But I think my first question would be, what does the word submit mean in the prompt? Like, what are we going with? Submit in terms of religion, in terms of every facet of life, in terms
Well, in
of finances,
relationships.
or what?
In a relationship, so like submit means accept or yield to a superior force or the authority or will of another person. So like if the man's saying he's a leader, he's the head of the household, he's her head, she's going to submit to his leadership. So he's the authority figure in her life as if she's a child, as if women need authority figures as adults, and she will submit to that.
Um, I think
Yes or no?
yeah, I believe man, it's very
So
nuanced.
you want women to submit to you, but you don't want your daughter to submit to men. Essentially, is
No,
what why you're
I
torn.
would I think I would want women to submit to as much as they're willing or for as much as they want a man to submit to them. I think it's 50-50. I think it's
So a
men.
partnership. You're
Yeah,
not.
I think men should submit what on certain things, and women should submit to certain things.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a partnership where you are equal. There's no authority. You're not submitting. You're not. You're not. You're not yielding like to someone's superior force or authority. You're equal. You make decisions together. You talk about it because you're
Right.
partners.
And I would throw this at you. There's no conversation or anything about who is going to protect whom. It's not in every
What
relationship
does
is
that have
different,
to
but
do
it
with submission?
so if I'm out in public, okay, and my
Wait, hold
woman.
on, hold on. My question is, what does protection have to do with submission?
Because if I'm protecting someone, I can't protect someone that isn't submitting to me.
Well,
That wouldn't make
are
any
you
sense.
qualified to protect them? Like, are you a bodyguard, or are you trained by like the Green Berets or the Navy SEAls or the
If I'm if
FBI?
I'm if I'm taking myself as an individual, yes, I am. I
No,
I could
no,
I
no,
could
no.
protect.
You have personally been trained professionally trained to be a bodyguard.
I have formal training. Yes, yes, I
Okay,
do.
so
In
that's you.
firearms and personal protection and physical combat, yes. Like
Okay, so
I
that's you. That's not
like
most men. So even with that, if we're talking
I
about
mm,
no, most
I
men
would
are
say
not trained in
I would
armed to
say it's more
arm.
men than you think.
I said most men. I'm not. I didn't say how many. Most men are not trained in firearms. Most men are not trained in like combat or how to protect somebody. Like most men are not. Like they work 9 to 5s. behind a desk somewhere or whatever, drive Uber or work at a cash, like they're mechanics or whatever the heck. Like they're not trained bodyguards. But even in that scenario where you're saying she has to submit to you in order for you to protect her, she's still an adult. So if she chooses, like now, obviously, if you really have all this training that you're talking about, or a woman may have that type of protection, that type of training. Obviously, if you're in a relationship with somebody who has that type of protection and something were to happen, it would behoove you to listen, most likely, because thank you so much for the gifts, honey, because they probably know what they're talking about. But that's where autonomy comes in, and they have the right to say, oh, wait, I don't want to do that. And also, this is still not something that's like common. This is not something that's happening like on a regular basis. Maybe it's a once in a lifetime thing, but like still, it's not something that happens in most people's lifetimes. But my point is that even in a situation where she needs protection, she still has the right to say, oh, you're saying come hide behind whatever. And she's like, no, I want to go this way. She has the right to say, I want to do this because I'm an adult and I want to do my own thing.
Okay, and if she's going to allow herself to be autonomous and do her own thing, then is it still my duty then to follow her and protect her? Because she is not. But that's not what women on a whole are expecting though.
That doesn't make sense, because if you're saying that you're this trained, assassin essentially.
I'm not I never said that. I'm not a trained assassin.
I'm being sarcastic.
Don't embellish on
being sarcastic. Okay.
Yeah.
You're a trained combat person who knows like firearms or whatever. And something happens. And something
It's not that deep, abnormal. You're trained. We got it.
I mean,
and something happens. Okay, hold on. Something happens and you two are together. She would probably think, oh, good, I'm with him because he knows what to do. But so then she would listen to you most likely, and I would hope the same would be said for a woman. If she's trained, has similar training or more training or whatever, and she's with her husband or friends or whatever, and they know, oh, she's trained, they're probably going to look to her to be like, oh, what do we do in this situation? I don't know. I'm a civilian, or I don't have the similar training. So she would probably listen to you, and she would do what you say because she wants to survive. Now, on the off chance that she doesn't listen to you for whatever reason, maybe she panics or freezes or just thinks what you're saying doesn't make sense, or I don't know, doesn't trust you for whatever reason. I don't know what will cause her to not do what you're saying. I don't think that the average person would say, I'm choosing to not listen to him, but now I'm expecting him to follow me and protect me. That doesn't make sense.
But that's my question, is abnormal. Here's the thing, and this is what I never understand. You're talking about someone that you're saying you love. There's a romantic feeling, there's affection. So why would you require someone to submit to you for you to love them? Which is essentially what we're talking about when you're talking about providing and protecting. Why is that a requirement that they submit their will to you in order for you to love them?
Because there is an exchange of something. I won't even be descriptive on what that is, but there is an exchange. And if my argument would have been fleshed out all the way, I was going to bring this back around to it's a similar thing. Like, would you feed a child from your bosom that you didn't have, that's not biologically yours?
Yes.
No, you would.
Yes.
You
Yes.
would. And most women on the whole would say that. Most women on the whole would say that. Today, not based on
abnormal. That's what wet nurses are. Women have been doing this for time immemorial. That's how babies survived before formula existed. If the mother unalived, the baby would unalive, there were wet nurses. Women have absolutely nursed children that were not theirs if they had the ability. To say that you would let an infant unalive and you have the capacity to feed them, that's weird. Yes. I mean, that's cruel. I can't even fathom that.
There are breast milk banks for women who can't produce breast milk because they have medical conditions. Other women will literally mail them breast milk so that they can feed their infants from another woman's body. And this is the difference between men and women. You all are conditional creatures that have to get something out of the bargain.
I mean, yeah, it happens all the time. I mean, I even saw a female police officer who a baby was abandoned and she was breastfeeding the baby, this baby that they had just picked up. I can't remember where they found the baby. She was a nursing mother, so she was able to feed the baby. She's in her uniform, breastfeeding the baby. Like, that's what, like, I can't even fathom that. Like, of course.
And every woman in the comments is saying the same thing, Abnormal. Like, what are you talking about? Of course I would, or that I have done it. There's foster parents who have children that come in their house that night and a mother will breastfeed the baby. So yes, we do it all the time.
Yeah. So I don't even understand that, but like I think, and that speaks to how conditional. That's not even like at that point. Is that even love? If it's like condition, there's this condition that you must submit to me in order for me to love you. Like that doesn't even. So I don't even know, Gina, if you want to re-ask your question. I can't remember exactly what your question was, but
That was where it stemmed from. I'm like, why would there be a condition on love? Like, I thought that the exchange was that I love you back.
yeah.
And that I'll do things for you, you do things for me, but never would it be, you didn't eat my dinner last night, so now I'm not gonna, love you, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that.
You can, I mean, abnormal.
Okay. So what I would answer to that is I'm sure I'm not doubting, I'm not saying that there isn't mothers that wouldn't feed another child. That wasn't my intention with that statement. I'm saying that the focus should be on the exchange. The mother isn't going to do all of those things like you said, offering mother like there's money exchange. Mothers are selling their milk. I know that that's happening. Maybe not on the whole, but there is some exchange. They're doing it for friends, so it's an exchange of friendship between a mother that maybe can't produce milk. It's beside the point. But I'm saying there's always an exchange, whether it's love for love or protection for submission. There's always
No,
an exchange for so for
no,
to expect
abnormal.
a
That's not
man
true.
to expect something from a man and then there be no clear reference to what he would be getting in
Abnormal.
return. You're just basically asking him to protect you from nothing.
Abnormal. One, there are people who donate blood for free. They sit down, take time out of their day to donate blood from their body, and they don't get paid for it. There are women who donate, as Gigi was saying, there are milk banks where women donate their milk to mothers who, for whatever reason, that they cannot produce milk or whatever happened with the mother, that like currently right now some may be being compensated, but that is not the point. The point is that a baby needs to be fed, therefore the baby is being fed because the women are able to do it. So it's really weird that you're saying that you're just protecting her for nothing. I would think you're protecting her because you love her and you want her to be safe.
No,
That's
I
why
would be
you're
protecting
doing
her
it.
because she loves me, correct? I wouldn't protect something out of my own interest. That does not make
That
any
sounds, you
that
just
that
said
doesn't
that
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 doesn't
is
make
out of
any
your own
sense.
interest because you said, what am I getting out of it?
How am what if, okay, so then I love a person that does not love me back. I'm getting something out of that
I'm
interaction
saying
that
you
doesn't make
love
any
each
sense.
other. You love
All
each
right,
other.
exactly. I'm saying. So you said that I would be protecting her because I love her myself. No, I would protect a woman because she loves me, not the other way around. But this is my thing. That we know that there's a disconnect between how men and women express emotions, and some men don't express them at all. So what I'm saying is there is no way that you are going to get a man to protect you without some kind of
That's
tangible
not true.
exchange of something.
That's not true.
And I'm saying this because
Well, what exchange are you talking about? I don't even know. Like, because I would think that the relationship and that you're in a relationship, you love each
right,
other, and you care about this person, that will cause you to want to protect them. Like, I don't
exactly. And I'm saying
understand.
the
Like,
so
so, so what are you,
for
so
men
like,
the
what about, hold on, what about children? What are children giving you that earns their protection? Like, if you
legacy,
have children,
that's easy.
if,
Legacy. If I produce a
oh,
child and he
wow.
goes to the NBA or he comes up or I would honestly, if today
Wow.
if I had even a daughter or a son, or whatever, and they took over my business. They founded their own business. They made great art.
Okay.
They
See
did
that money
whatever.
pew
They were
pew?
humanitarian.
Yes.
That's
Tariq,
fine.
somebody
That's
to
legacy.
drop you. So, that money pew pew was somebody paying to drop you. Thank you, Therese. That is so disturbing. What? So he would protect his children because one of them may grow up and go to the NBA? What?
Right. One of them, or they might take care of him, I'm sure, in his old age. But yo, that is the most transactional. Like, I'm stunned.
I thought he was gonna say, "Oh well, yeah." Like, I can't even. I'm
Someone said,
just.
can
Tell me what?
can we call his mama? Someone said, can we call his
Well,
mama?
it sounds like he doesn't
I
have
feel
to
like-
get because he said, "If I." Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hello.
That was disturbing, but I think that's an insight into the way a lot of them think. Because, John, you have an echo. Are you connected to Bluetooth or something?
Yeah, let me unhook. All right, can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. Okay, yeah, now it's
Oh, okay.
okay.
All
What's
right.
your age? Yeah, it is so
I'm
rare that they say
37.
plainly because he just said it. And I don't even know if he realized how vile that was. But anyway, okay. Do you disagree with the prompt?
I'm 37.
Okay. Do you disagree with the prompt?
I mean, I think it's individual case by case. I mean, everybody's different. So, like, if it works for you, then yeah. But, like, I mean, no. I mean, I don't completely disagree. No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
Well, if you don't have a strong opinion on it, I'm going to move on.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say.
I mean, you can't really say because it's not a one size fits all type of thing you're trying to do. So, I mean,
Okay.
like,
Okay. Thanks for coming up. I don't even know. Like, oh, I don't know. Just yes, no, maybe so. Like, what? I don't know what the point of that was. I really don't. Hi, Brown Cow. Thanks for coming up. What's your age?
32.
Okay. Do you disagree with the prompt?
Mostly.
Okay. Why is that?
Uh, Outside of the gender aspect, I think there's some type of submission in relationships when there's someone who's more competent, maybe
Hold on.
knowledgeable.
Hold on. We are talking in reference to gender because typically men and some women think that women should submit to men. It's typically one direction and it's strictly based on gender. It's not based on any other qualifications like who's more educated, who has more experience, or whatever. It's just gender based. So that's why I have it written this way.
Gotcha. So, I mean, when it comes to women submitting to men just because they're men, I think that's nonsensical. But I think there's a certain aspect when it comes to submission in relationships that's valid. I think earlier you called it partnership, and then we probably would go into the weeds about semantics. But I think there's a healthy way to look at this, and the most unhealthy way is when a man is requiring submission just because he's a man, outside of anything that warrants, that in the logical way.
Okay, well, see the different. Okay, so I don't know if you were here when I read the definition of submit. It's to accept or yield to a superior force or the authority or will of another person. So that's why I'm saying that like having your partner, your romantic partner, be your superior force or an authority figure is weird. But if you're talking about being in a relationship and you're partners together, that is where you're working together and you're equal.
I don't know. So I think there's times where that would make sense. So if my lady, if she's more knowledgeable or more competent in a certain space, and even against my my judgment, if I know this about her, she's the authority. And even when sometimes it might be painful to listen to her, I know in the back of my head I probably should because she's more competent in this specific space.
But
So
that's still a
she
partnership because like you're listening to her. She's not saying, "Oh, you don't want to do that. Well, I'm going to do it anyway, even though you don't want me to and you disagree. I'm going to do it because I'm your authority in this area or just in general." So it's different when you're saying, "Oh, I don't really want to do it, but you know what? She knows more in this area, so it makes sense, even though it's not what I really feel. But okay, let's do it." You
just to
are
make sure I don't get the because maybe I'm getting how the word is defined wrong in my mind. Because I'm thinking that what I described still fits under submission. But if are you saying that like there's like an absolute aspect to it, like I have to do what she says, and that would be
Yeah, she's
submission.
your authority figure. She is a superior force and the authority. So that is so the person who is submitting to the superior force because they are the authority figure.
Right, but I'm not convinced that superior force can automatically mean it could be automatically absolute. I
Okay,
mean,
so
I think
authority means the power or right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience. So if you are submitting to her as your authority, that means that she has a right to give you orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience.
right.
So if you disagree with, like, say, you want to sell the house and she doesn't, and she's maybe like a real estate broker and she knows everything about the markets and everything, and you're like, no, I really like the house and neighborhood, etc. And she's like, no, it makes sense. We'll make so much more money. And you're like, no, I don't care how much money we make. I want this to be our forever home.
Right.
But she says, no, I'm the authority figure. We're selling the house. Like, okay, I'm sorry that you don't want to move,
Hmm.
but we're moving.
Yeah.
So if that would be submitting, yes. If she says, I don't like, that's fine. You don't, no, that's fine. I'm sorry, or however she phrases it. She may say, I don't care. Or she may say, sucks to be you. Or she may say, I'm sorry, but I want to do it. We're going to do it, even though you don't want to. Or you could say, okay, makes sense. You're the broker. I'm sure it'll make us so much more money, and we'll find another house that we love as much. We can make it a home, and then
So
you
let me.
agree. So
So the
those are two
difference would
different
be.
things.
So the difference would be if I don't agree that I would still have to go with whatever she is choosing or saying.
Yes, because she has the power to give you orders, so she can say start packing, and then
Mm.
enforce obedience. And so
I have
then
to
if
think
you
about that
don't,
because I would in that same scenario because a lot of times even if the competent thing is there, if it's not just off the like superficial, even if I didn't want to, I would probably be like, all right, I'm gonna do what she says off the strength
that's
that
your
she
choice.
knows.
But you're
I get
making
what
the
you're
choice.
saying, but right,
There's a
I'm just
difference
saying
with.
that
But if you're saying, I don't want to, but I'm going to go with what she's saying, you're choosing to. Now, if
but that
she,
sounds like slavery.
well, I'm talking about what authority is. Like when you tell your kids, get up, it's time to get ready for school, like, get up, you're going to be late. It's not like
Right,
slavery. It's like, I'm your parent and do what I said, or there are going to be consequences.
right.
So there's a difference with like, and that's why I'm saying this is inappropriate because what right does another adult have to have the authority over another adult to give them orders, to enforce obedience, and to make decisions for them? I think that that's not okay. I think that you should have to agree, be partners, and say like, okay, because obviously you're not going to always agree on things, but it would be the right thing to for you, like you're saying, like I don't want to, but okay, I'll do it because of X, Y, and Z. Versus you're like dug in and you're like, I'm not moving, and she's like, yes, we are because I'm the authority and we're moving. So I sold the house, start packing. We got to move out in 2 weeks
Hmm.
because she's
I'll
the
have
authority.
to wrap my head around this just to make sure that I'll do some more thinking about this because I see what you're saying. But if I could ask you, um, do you think like when men do talk about submission, that the majority of men mean it in a way that you're outlining, or is it like, or maybe there's a little bit more nuance where
No,
they
because
would.
they make it sound like they love her, and they
Mhm.
might, but it's like I'm doing what's best. So like in this situation, your wife's like, I'm doing what's best, or your girlfriend, whoever, I'm doing what's best. We're gonna make more money. We're gonna find another house. We'll make it a home. I'm doing what's best for our future. You may just have a difference of opinion because you're like, I love this house and this is where I want to live forever. But what they say is, obviously you get to the point where you can't agree. Well, then I'm the one who makes the final decision. And
Uh,
every time that we can't agree, I make the final decision, and we're doing what I want to do, regardless of whether you want to do it or not.
okay. I'm gonna end this with like one last question, but do you uh so like for me, and even when I talk to some of my guys friends, and I mean, we majority of my friends are on the same page with this, but it's a common practice with us to like really take uh, what our wives or significant others say seriously, because a lot of the times I've seen with us when we were younger, like ego might get in the way of it, making like the best choice, and sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So if you have someone who's really close to you who can see what's going on from like a different perspective, outside looking in, it's like really important to take what they say into consideration, and then also allowing them to lead a lot of the times, so that way there's
Well,
not just.
well, I don't understand. Like you're talking about decisions that affect her.
No, no, no. Like, affect both you guys, or it could be just her, or just you.
That's what I mean. Like if they're going to affect her, I'm not. It's not just affecting you. So like if they're
Right.
decisions that affect her, the way you're saying you take her into consideration, that's not an equal partner. That's like, say, for example, like say you had kids in this situation, and you're like, hey guys, we're thinking about moving, but that would mean that you guys would probably go to a different school. So we're going to take what you want into consideration when we make the decision, but we're going to do what we want to do. So like that's a really like way it sounds condescending and like like infantilizing to say we consider her, like take her into consideration when she should be at the table making the decision with you. If it's
I don't.
something that's
Are
affecting
you
her too.
speaking on what I just said, or are you just saying in
Yeah.
general?
Yeah, well, you
No.
said
So
that you take her into consideration. That's not the same as you're making this decision together. You're
no,
saying,
no. That's not what I mean.
mhm.
And if I misspoke, my apologies. What I'm saying is to take what she's saying seriously, even if you disagree, because you don't know what you don't know, and I was just getting at like
Oh,
it's
you mean,
good practice.
yeah, I mean, like if you're talking about you're making the decision together and you care about what the other person's saying, and that's how you're making your decision, but you're ultimately making the decision together,
Or
or you're making the
sometimes.
decision on your own and you're considering how she thinks, even though it's going to affect her.
Well, how would you put this? What category would you put this in? Where maybe I disagree like deeply, but I know that she's not saying these things without reason, and maybe this specific category she's more knowledgeable, or she feels deeply about it, and like, and at the end of the day, you're taking that seriously, even if you disagree. What would that go under?
I mean, I guess I would have to know how you're like, does she have equal say in the decision?
Yeah,
Like,
of
are you
course.
guys sitting down talking about it? You're considering, yeah, you're not just selfishly like pushing my way, my way, my way to kind of try and force or manipulate,
Right, but
cajole
I'm
her.
I'm I'm
Yeah, and
consciously
she's doing the
choosing, despite the
same.
fact that I disagree, to go with what she is saying.
Yeah, she should be doing the same where she's considering what you think, and that should impact her decision. But it should be 100% you guys come to it together, not like I'm making the decision. I'll let you know what
Yeah,
I'm
but
doing. Thank you.
so when you say coming together, what I'm thinking when you say that connects to what I'm saying is that I'm agreeing to go with what you're saying, despite the fact that I disagree. But we're both on the same page, but that I do disagree, but I'm going with
Yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah. Yeah, that's a
Okay.
partnership. You're talking about together. You're like, I don't really want to do it, but you really seem like that's what you want to do, and maybe you have more experience. Okay, fine. But you're choosing it. It's not a like where she's coming in and saying we're selling the house, start packing, or
So
vice versa.
submission would be if I don't have a choice in the matter.
Well, if you agree, then that works great. But if you happen to not agree, then she's the authority,
Right.
and then you have to submit to that authority. And so, whether you want to or not, you're doing it.
Okay. Do you think that moving forward, I don't mean like in this live, but like as a culture, we can have like a better conversation where maybe we remove the word submission and practice what it is that you and I are going back and forth on, where it's the healthiest version of it. Like, hey, I disagree with you, but I do think that you made great choices in this category before. So, despite how I may feel about it, even if I think my choice is better, I'm gonna go with what you're saying, and then and the responsibility with that along with it.
I mean, I think that there are egalitarian relationships where both partners are equal. Those are the most, both partners are the most satisfied, the most content, because they have equal say. One person's not submitting to the other. So this does happen. The thing is, a lot of men are stuck on the word submit because they want to be the leader. They want to be in charge. They want to say that I'm the head. I'm the head of the household. My way goes, my say goes. I'm whatever variation of that.
Right.
And because of that, so I think first they have to respect women and the women that they're in, or the woman that they're in a relationship with. But a lot of them don't, or don't see them as their equal, or think that it is their birthright because they are a man to have the final say. So I definitely think that there are people who have taken the word submit off the table, and it is an equal partnership. But a lot of men who insist on this don't want an equal partnership, don't want her to have equal say, and think that they have the right. Like there was a man up here, I don't know if you heard him, who was talking about you should submit to him, the woman should submit to them because, well, what are they getting for protecting you if you're not submitting to them, essentially?
Yeah,
So
I was
like
trying to see where he was going with what he was saying. He kind of caught me off guard at the end of it because it started to not make very much sense.
Yeah, so like there are men who are like very transactional, like, okay, well, she's submitting to me and because I'm gonna protect her. And it's like, why wouldn't you just protect her anyway? Because you love her. And also, how often are you really protecting her? Not often, but anyway, the point is that this word has been taken off the table for a lot of people, but a lot of men don't want to.
Right. Yeah, I don't know where he was going with that. I think he was speaking candidly and kind of like messed up with his own argument. But is there any category in relationships where submission would apply? Like I would think that if I am protecting my wife, that comes with some type of authority.
No, because again, she still has the autonomy. You're not her authority figure. As I said before, one, you would have to be trained and know what you're doing because all men just don't know. Like they're not just born with the ability to protect people. That's a skill that people train to learn. So if you are trained and you know what you're doing, then if she's with you and something happens and she needs protection, she most likely will listen to you because she knows you know what you're doing. And vice versa. If she were trained, you would listen to her if you didn't know what you were doing. But at the same time, if she decides for whatever reason, I don't know why, because she would probably listen to you, but like for whatever reason, in the moment, if something's happening, she has the right to say, I'm an adult, I want to go this way and do what I want because she's an adult. She has a right. So like, I don't think that there's any respect in which scenario situation where a competent, capable adult should have an authority figure that the authority figure has a right to give them orders, enforce obedience. Like that's weird.
Yeah, I guess I'm just touching on like outside of the word submission, what would the healthiest version look like where because like say if my lady, like she's in the military, she knows more about handling guns and being strategic or can I say that word? I'm sorry.
Yeah, pew. Uh-huh.
No,
Pew pew. I apologize. Maybe she's more competent in that specific field and something happens and I know in the back of my mind she's the one, the go-to for this, and she says, hey, we need to do this right now. My ability to say no is always there, but I think if I decide prior that she's an authority in this space.
But if you do say no, she's not going to enforce obedience on you. It's like, okay, you're doing what you want. You're an adult. I wish you'd listen to me because I know what I'm doing in this situation. But like, if you guys make it out alive, she's not going to be like, okay, now we have to have a talk because you didn't listen to me and I have the right to give you orders. Like that you still have autonomy. So again, it would behoove you to listen if she's in the military and has all this experience. You probably would because she knows what she's doing. But at the end of the day, you have the right to be like, that doesn't make sense to me. Or whatever,
right.
Whatever the situation is. I mean, this is the thing. Guys always bring up, not you, but the men who bring up the protection aspect. They're always talking about experiences that almost nobody experiences. Like
Right, right.
you're not walking down the street and somebody, I mean, like this is a violent country if you're in the States. I mean, it is, but like still, it is not something that's happening, definitely not on a regular basis, to the extent that you're saying that now I have to submit to you every day in the off chance that if something were to happen, now you're going to protect me. Because the thing is, if you wanted to make that claim, then thank you. You would be submitting in that one moment and that one moment only. It does not require submission in other areas of life, like finances, like we're talking about selling houses, like all the things that come up in life where you have to make decisions. Why in the world would she have to submit to you in all those other areas just so that you'll protect her if something bad happens to her? That sounds like extortion or something. That's not like, you're not doing it because you love her or you love each other, you're in a relationship. You're doing it because, okay, I owe you because you listen to me. You've submitted to me all this time. So now I'm going to protect you. Like, this is a weird way to even think about that.
Yeah, I agree. I guess outside of the word submission, I was leaning towards when is it appropriate to have the idea that my significant other has the authority in this category. So, like, if she's more competent in this space.
I don't personally think that there's any area in which they should have the right to give you orders, enforce obedience, and make decisions for you. I don't think that there's any situation in which one adult needs to make decisions for the other adult if they're competent and capable. I just can't think of that. That they have the right to usurp your own. They have the right to usurp your own autonomy, your own agency. I can't.
What category would you put? Because I agree with you, but I guess I'm just trying to figure out what category would it exist where she's leading in a specific field that she's more competent in, even if it's like, her protection, because she is in the military. She has done these things before where she's been strategic or is aware of threats, and something happens in the moment, and I, with my own will, listen to her because I know that she's capable, and maybe I should listen to her.
That's the listening part. And when you're choosing is the difference between a partnership and submission. The submission removes your choice. Submission removes your agency. Submission removes your autonomy.
So you would put that on a category of just partnership, where I willfully acknowledge that she's okay. I get what you're saying.
I'm choosing. I'm using my autonomy, my agency to say, okay, I'm gonna do it, even though I don't feel like it. I don't like it. Whatever the area is, but I'm choosing to do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Versus she's enforcing this. She's forcing this on you, or you're forcing something on her. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I get you. Well, I really appreciate talking to you again. It's always great to have this conversation. Sorry. Always good to have these conversations with you. You're really reasonable and sweet, so I appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you for coming up. Thank you for being agreeable, and it's rare, but it's funny. While you're talking, this guy said, "Man, hate Monday." Like, does it seem like I hate men talking to you?
I always say that during the friendly parts of the conversations, like, "Oh my gosh, Angela, you hate men."
Like,
yeah, I think they're speaking absolutely just to support a narrative in their mind and not engaging with the conversation in good faith. So, I mean, you can disagree, but your argument should be together and you should be listening pretty well. And I don't think you ladies probably get that a lot. So, I apologize for that.
Well, thank you for coming up and being nice.
No problem. See you.
Have a great afternoon.
Can I do a quick mod moment? Hi guys, it is Gigi. We are here together. There's about 250 of us here, so that's a great crowd, and we're at 25K likes, and I'd really like to get Angela to 40K likes in the next 15 minutes, and we have enough people to do that. If you guys just do me a favor and tap consecutively on the screen somewhere around the prompt, and that'll kind of stop you from requesting up. It is completely free to do that, and so whether or not you agree with the topic, if you can tap the screen, we'd appreciate it, because that helps get other voices in the room, even voices that do not agree with Angela, so that we can have the conversation together. One other thing that you can do, it is not required, but it is most appreciated, is if you would like to send Angela your Heart Me or your Go Popular or any other type of gifts. Again, it is not required at all, but if you do feel moved to send her something, she is most grateful. Her gift goal are rosas with an A at the end. So if you see that at the top, help her meet her gift goal. We do have no profanity on the panel, and in the comments we try to keep that pretty clean, so we just ask that you please watch that. Also, if you guys could do me a favor, we do have some moderators in the comments. If you could refrain from using all capitals when you're typing. A capital word here or there is not a problem, but just all caps, that is reserved for the moderators and to communicate with Angela, so we'll flag her. So if you guys could just do that, that would be super helpful. Oh, we see gifts coming in. Thank you, Clinically Sane. You're sending roses. Brittany, thank you so much for sending the roses. Pink Bubbles, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, Honey, thank you so much. You guys are so awesome. And we're already at 33, almost 34K. Thank you so much. Keep tapping until we get to that. I think I said 50, right? 50K. And I'm going to be quiet now and turn it over to Angela.
Thank you so much, Gigi. And thank you all so much in the heart and everything. G. Hi, G. Thanks for coming up. What's your age?
Hey, can you hear me?
Thank you so much. Yes, hi.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry about that. We had a bad time. But no, I think the prompt is basically
Wait,
women
hold on
should
real quick. What's your age?
40.
Okay, do you anyway, if you disagree, anyone can request to join if you disagree. Okay, do you disagree with the prompt?
It's a weird prompt, but I agree in the sense that women want leaders. Women want strong, authoritative leaders.
Wait, so do you disagree with the prompt?
Yeah, that's what I said. I disagree.
Oh, I thought you said you agree. Okay.
No,
Okay.
I agree that women are the ones that actually want leaders.
You agree. What do you mean you agree? That's not, I don't even know what you're saying. You agree women want strong leaders. It doesn't say women want strong leaders. So I don't know what you're saying. You agree to that.
I agree that women want to submit to men.
Okay. Well, you'd be wrong.
I excuse me. I define submission not as being some kind of dictator or veto power just because he has a penis, but more of the fact that submission is cooperation.
That's
And
literally not what submission means.
well, I think that's
Thank
the
you so
biblical
much.
term of it.
Thank you so much for the gifts. Okay, so where are you getting this definition from?
That's the biblical term of submit.
Where? I have not seen a biblical definition for the word submit.
Oh yeah, it's in the Bible.
Where? That's why I keep asking you where.
I don't know. I can't. I'm on my phone right now.
Yeah, your phone's a great place to look it up.
Well, I'm currently occupied, but again, women crave leadership and authoritative men.
No, okay, those are two different
And
things.
that's
Women crave
and
leadership, and it's in the Bible. Women do not crave leadership.
yes, they do.
No, I'm a woman.
Sure they do.
I do not crave leadership.
Well,
And
you may not, but
yeah,
the
and
vast majority of women
you
don't even want to make decisions on where to take a date
Woman, G?
from.
that's not true.
Are you a woman, G? Are
Oh
you a
no,
woman?
no, I've been with
Are
women.
you a woman, G?
I've been with women.
So then how would you know what a woman wants in her head?
And women in the
He's on
comments,
teacups.
women in the comments are saying they don't want leaders either. So okay, G, if
Yeah.
you're in teacup, so if you can't see us, we can't hear you. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, G, you can request back up. I know you said this is not a good time or something, so you can request back up if you'd like, but you went on teacups.
I just don't understand like how they know what's going on in our innermost desires and our hearts and our minds. Like if they know so much about our innermost desires, you'd think we'd be happier.
Yes, every adult desires to be controlled. Like what?
Like you know what women are thinking, but you can't find the ketchup in the pantry. Like I don't make it make sense. I don't understand.
Okay, cheese or whoever. Okay, I don't know. You wouldn't load. So I'm looking for people who disagree with the prompt. There are a couple people in the queue who I'm not sure if you agree or disagree. Yeah, exactly. I have a prompt that says, night Z baby, weak men want submissive women. I agree. Um, thank you. Does anybody is there anybody who disagrees? Um, yeah, men think that women are inferior to women. They do. Men think that women are inferior to them. They do, absolutely. Hey, Therese.
Thanks for letting me up real quick. This drives me nuts. The tinkering with the definition of submission and saying, "Oh, but it's in the Bible." First of all, you probably know the Bible better than I do, but I don't recall the last time I read it seeing anything about the definition of submission as they describe it. That is a church culture derived thing. That's a fake thing they made up in order to subjugate women. First thing. Second thing is we're going on definitions of words. You can't change the definition of a word just because you've realized it makes you look like an a-hole, because
Exactly.
most of them, even though they think the same way, they don't want to admit that they just want a woman in their house to control. So they say, oh, no, 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 it's not submission like that, it's co-submission. Bro, that's partnership. What you're describing is partnership. The word submission, the prefix is sub, S-U-B, meaning below, beneath, submarine, subterranean, below water, below earth. I seriously doubt whether some of these people can read. I doubt their literacy, first of all. But then for most of them, I honestly just think that they're in denial because they don't want to admit that they just want a woman to control. Occasionally, you have more of them are admitting that, are saying the quiet part out loud, but they know that if they accept the actual definition of the word as defined by dictionaries, which apparently are woke now, that destroys their whole argument. Seriously had a black man on this app tell me that, like, oh, you can't trust dictionaries because they're like some conspiracy or something, like where dictionaries apparently are like untrustworthy. But yeah, I just that whole exchange that you just had with that man, that drives me absolutely nuts because they're either stupid and can't read, or they know what they're doing is wrong. They know what they're doing is wrong, and they don't want it to look like they're looking for someone to control, because they know if it looks like that, no woman will F them, much less marry them. Anyway,
Exactly.
that's all.
Yeah,
Thanks for
exactly. You
letting
say
me vent real quick.
he's not a dictator. I'm like, you're the one who used that word. I'm going based on the word, the definition of the word. And so, yeah, submission is talked about in the Bible, but there's no definition for the word submission in the
No.
Bible. So that's what I was asking. Where are you getting this definition for the word submit in the Bible? I've never read the definition. There's no glossary in the Bible. So, like, where are you getting that from?
That's a Protestant cultural thing. That's like not it's not biblical, that whole idea of submission. Every time I see it, it's in like church documents on a church website on something that is like an opinion based with no evidence, no cited chapter or verse. I've never seen a cited chapter or verse other than just the, wives obey your husbands, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. I think that they're
That's
deriving
what
it
they're
from
taking it
that,
from. Yeah.
maybe. Um, all bullshit. I'm an atheist, but whatever. But, we're going by dictionary definitions because not everybody believes in the same sky daddy. So let's just go by the dictionary because that's universal and we can all agree on what something means.
Yeah.
Anyway, oh my God, that guy. Thanks for letting me up real quick.
Thanks
Maybe
for
I'll swing
coming
by
up.
back later for a mod circle if I'm still
Therese,
on.
Okay.
Yes?
I just wanted to say, I've heard that about the dictionary and all of that, about like we can't trust these sources. They also say that you can't trust college educated women because the powers that be have indoctrinated them, and like it warps our minds because we're too impressionable. And it really is just a new form of anti-intellectualism, where if you can make people
Yes.
doubt the trusted sources, so that there is no like barometer on truth, there is no source,
Mhm.
then that leaves it up to everyone's interpretation. And once it goes to individual interpretation, now that's a fight they can win, because they can bury you with words or bullying or power or brute strength or whatever it is. And so the more and more people try to get us to distrust educational institutions. We saw it a lot with MAGA, where they're calling every college and university liberal, right? Because if you can get people to doubt truth, in that there are no experts, that everything is up to my interpretation, well, now you have a fight you can win.
Exactly. It's not my fault that the facts support more leftist thinking. I'm sorry, the facts have a liberal bias. Apparently they do.
It just is
Sorry,
what it
that's the
is.
way it
I
works out.
know.
All
Yeah.
right, I'll see y'all later. Bye.
Thank you, Therese. Hi, Bando. Thanks for coming up. What's your age? Thank you for the gifts. Oh, that was a bunch of Gigi. Hi, Bando. Thanks for coming up. What's your age? Bando. Okay, maybe he doesn't know he's up here. Hi, Apexian. Thanks for coming up. I think you're up here before, so I know you're over 21. Okay. Do you disagree with the prompt?
Yep, I do.
Okay, why is that?
Real fast. I just want to jump back on that guy that said that women should only be protected by men that they submit to. As you know, I have a traumatic brain injury. I actually got that from protecting a woman that I didn't know. So that was some BS. Anyway, I don't think all women should submit to all men, but I do think that women should submit to good men that deserve it.
There's no man that's good enough. There is no man that deserves it.
So, based off of what you say submit is, no. If you're going off you said the dictionary, right? We're going off of the actual what submission means and submit means. But I think we're all raised in this patriarchal world where we're told that the Bible says this and we should live off of that. And I think we've all just kind of been brainwashed. And this conversation is one that should try to fix it. But I don't know if this prompt is going to help fix it or add fuel to the fire and make people stand more firm in their beliefs.
Okay, so do you disagree with the prompt?
I do disagree with the prompt. I do think. Go ahead.
Because fundamentally, I think it's a problem that there are people out there, women and men. I just saw a woman say that her husband deserves submission. So she thinks, because she's been indoctrinated and brainwashed to believe that as an adult, her husband deserves to be the authority in her life. Right. He deserves to be able to give her orders and to enforce obedience. That is sad to me. There are millions of women and girls trapped in that belief system.
Ideology, right?
Yeah, ideology. Yeah, exactly. And so that's why it's because, first of all, in order to deal with anything, you have to talk about you have to acknowledge that there's a problem.
Right.
So a lot of people don't even think there's a problem with this. So that's why I'm talking about it. And so when the issue I have when people say talking about issues or problems is divisive, then what is the solution? Just not talk about it? Not talk about the fact that girls are indoctrinated from birth to believe that they should grow up and be in a hierarchy with their husband or boyfriend who loves them, but is their authority figure. I am addressing it because it has caused millions of women from the beginning of time harm. Real harm, mental, physical, emotional, and combination harm. It is still harmful to girls and women. To tell somebody that even though you're an adult, you have to give over your God-given autonomy, agency to another adult who does not. That's what I'm saying. There is no man who deserves it. There's no man who deserves part of your autonomy, part of your agency. He does not have the right to make decisions for you. There's not a man who deserves to make decisions for another adult who is competent and capable of doing so for themselves. Now, if you want to partner with somebody and you guys want to make decisions together, of course, that's an equal, equitable relationship. But to say that women should wholesale give over their autonomy to another person, there is nobody who's good enough or deserves that. And I don't understand the mind, the place that other than somebody who's controlling, manipulative, who thinks that they deserve that. And
Okay, let me
so
give you an example.
it's not divisive to talk about the harm that women and girls experience because of this dynamic right here.
No, I don't think it's one second. I don't think it's going to split the lines at all. What I'm saying is, I think we were all raised in the same section. It's just like we were raised the same way. Like we were told that women should submit to us, just like women were indoctrinated to think that they should submit to us. So I think it's the same problem that men and women are having, just different sides of the street. I don't quite know how to fix it, but I do think that it's the same concept. Um, in
Well, the thing
regards
is,
to
all of us weren't like I wasn't personally like my parents didn't teach me like it was in society, and I did get a little bit through religion, but like I wasn't raised to believe that. So everyone's getting different variations. Like everyone's not getting the exact same messaging, but
correct.
so I think that so that's why I'm talking about it because
Yeah,
it is
no,
a problem.
I'm
I'm
not
saying
saying
it.
you're wrong in talking about it. I don't want to put that out there. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I think it should be a conversation that goes both ways. I think men were also led incorrectly
Well,
from
this
the
is a
beginning.
conversation for men because the reality is that men are the ones who are going around thinking that they should assert their control over women. So I don't know what you mean by have a conversation both ways because there are women who are like, if you look in the comments, like, oh, well, no one's gonna like the way that men try to manipulate, gaslight, berate women who say that they don't want to submit. So it is a conversation with them essentially because they're the ones who typically think that women should submit to them.
Correct, but where does that come from? It comes from the same place that girls are being taught that is okay.
Yeah,
Boys
yeah.
are being taught that as well.
And
So
I'm telling them that they're wrong. That even though we can all be told something, and when you get older, and then you exercise critical thinking, and then really think, like I'm saying, like why would somebody deserve
right,
to another adult to give another adult orders?
right.
Why would somebody deserve to enforce obedience on another adult?
So let me answer that real fast. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna use what you're saying. So I deserve that from my wife in the sense of because I've been trained in certain aspects of protection. When I say, "Hey, we got to get out of here. We got to go this way. We got to do that," she submits to that without question and
No,
has told. No, listen. Let,
no, no,
let me
no,
let me
no,
finish. Let me
no,
finish.
no, no,
She
no.
she
That's
submits to
harmful.
my.
That's still harmful
That's crazy.
because
Okay,
just
well,
because you
I'm just trying to
think
explain it, and
that,
you're not letting me. Let me finish
yeah,
it.
because it's harmful. You want to make
Okay.
it seem like it is a good thing because you're protecting her, but when you are taking somebody's agency and autonomy from them, you're not protecting them. You're controlling them.
I'm be
If
honest, you didn't even let me
you're
finish what I was
saying
saying. So how
no,
would you know where I was
I
going
don't
with it?
because
Like
what
I'm
you
not the
said
last
was
guy. I'm not
disturbing
that guy.
enough.
I'm
You
a
said
married
that
man. I am a former U.S.
you
Marine.
said
I am not like the
you
other guy.
you
So
said
okay,
no, you are like the other guy
no, I'm
because
not.
you're saying that you have the right to assert your authority over your wife to protect her. You do not. If she chooses,
No, you're
because
missing what
hold
I'm
on, you're
saying. You're
trained,
not listening to
you're
me.
trained. You said that you have the right to be
No, that's
her.
not what I
You,
said. That's not what I said.
what did you
That's
say?
not what
What
I
did you
said.
say?
I said that she has told me that I have the right to be like, hey, we're going to do this, that, or the third. And she's going to listen without thinking because I am her husband. I am a good
No,
husband.
wait, no,
I
you
take
did not
care.
say that at first.
You didn't
You
give me
said
a
that
chance
you have
to.
the
You
no
didn't give me a chance to.
at the beginning you
I
said
did
that
say
you
that.
have the right for her that you have the right to be the authority over her because you're trained. And
And you didn't
she
let me finish after that. You cut me off before I can get
because
to what
that
she
was
said.
disgusting enough. That was enough.
Okay, well that's
Because,
what I'm saying is we can't have a conversation if you're not gonna let me finish my whole statement and you're gonna cut me off halfway and then tell
because
me what I
you
said.
don't have
Like
the
that just
right
makes no sense.
because you don't have the right to be her authority figure at
I
all.
didn't.
In
This is we
any
gotta understand. This is not me saying that. This is her telling me this. That's what I'm trying to tell you
okay,
guys. It's not
I
necessarily me
understand
saying, "Hey,
Adrian.
I should be submitted to." I don't even think that way. I wasn't
You
raised that way or
said
anything like that. I'm telling you what
Apexi.
she told me.
Apexian. There's two different things. You can say because I have this experience and she knows that you have this experience. If you get in a situation where something's going down, she would most likely say, "Oh, he knows what to do. I'm going to follow him." That is her choice. But what you said is that you have the authority to tell her for her in those
what did I
situations.
say before that?
Those are
But what
two
I
different
said, I'm
things.
gonna use your exact verbiage before that. And I mean your verbiage, not mine.
Well, you chose to. You didn't. We're talking about submission, and you chose to use the words "I have the authority" in this
Yes.
situation because you're trained. And I'm
No, no,
saying
no.
absolutely
Before
not.
that, I just used your verbiage saying those exact words. She didn't say, "Hey, you have the authority over me," because no, she didn't say that. That's not
You
how we talk
said
to each
that.
other.
Okay,
You said that.
Apexian. You said that you have the authority over her in
No,
situations
no, no.
when.
I said I'm going to use your verbiage to tell you my story. So I use
Okay,
exactly what you said in order to tell my story, but that's not the verbiage
that
that we
doesn't make
use when we
sense.
talk.
Can I ask a question,
Okay.
Apex? Because
Yes,
you've
ma'am.
been very friendly in the comments, and you're being very friendly now. And I am only asking this because you've brought it up before. Is it possible that maybe you don't quite remember how you said it? Because I do know that you talked a little bit about a TBI. Because like I feel like I'm recalling it similarly to Angela, and a lot of people in the comments are, and so I'm just wondering if maybe.
It could be 100% right. Like, I don't really talk much about it, but I do have a traumatic brain injury and I
Yeah,
do have some short-term memory loss. So maybe
yeah.
I am saying it wrong. So if that's the case, I apologize, you guys.
No, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I just because you've been very nice, and I don't want it to be like you're being difficult. Because I'm wondering if maybe you're just not quite remembering it.
Yeah, you're probably right. Sorry about that, Angela.
Okay, no, that's okay. Yeah, and you're right, Gigi. So I'm not. I was just that's why I stopped you because that is what you said, and that's why I was saying that that's the problem
Understood.
with what you said. So yeah, if you're not remembering it, then that's fine.
Can I try to retell you guys?
Sure.
Okay, so basically what I want to say is my wife has told me that in certain situations that what I say is the NWO. Right? One second. Okay. So basically, she's told me that whatever I say in certain situations of danger is I'm going to be. She's going to listen to what I say in that situation, and I've asked her why. She's like, it's not because you were in the Marine Corps for as long as you were, and you know what you're talking about, and you do executive security now. It's because I trust the fact that you love me and that we are going to get through this together, and that's a form of submission, at least as I understand, but this is not the form of submission based off the dictionary.
No,
This is one that was
then
taught
that
to
wouldn't
me.
be then that
This
wouldn't be
is
submission. That would be
correct.
her agreeing. She's
That would
agreeing. Yeah,
okay, got
yeah,
it.
and that's great. She's saying, which like the scenario that the other guy gave, that like he was trained or whatever, and I was saying it would make sense that she would most likely listen to you because you have experience, And so that your
Right.
wife is saying, this is what you're trained in. You have experience. If something goes down, I'm glad I'm with you, and I will listen to you because you know what to do and I don't. So that would make sense, but that is her choice, and that's the thing about submission. It removes choice, and so
Got it.
that was the problem. So that is her saying, no, I'm gonna do it because of course you know what you're doing.
And
You're
that's the
trained for this.
choice
You're the
that she's
expert.
making. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
it wasn't clicking. Like I said, we're talking about years of being told one way and doing it another way. So it is what it
Okay.
is.
Well,
All right, thanks.
thank you for coming up.
Thank you, Apex. It's really great to have you up again.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Yeah, exactly. She chose to follow totally different.
I have, Angela, who had TBI, and
Yeah.
he sounds very similar, and so that's why I was like, I wonder if there could be a
Yeah,
little.
and I did I couldn't almost pull out of it a little bit, but I was kind of wondering. So I'm glad
Yeah.
you brought it up because I was thinking that maybe at some point then I was starting to think like maybe that's happening, but yeah. Okay, G, you're back. So are you at a better time to talk?
Yeah, sorry about that. I was in a noisy room.
Okay. So
Okay,
you disagree with
the Bible verse that I was talking about was Ephesians 5:22-32. Even
and
though
what
I'm
is
not even religious,
Okay,
I
so
don't
then why are
even
you talking
believe
about the
in
Bible?
submission like that.
So then why are you talking about the Bible? You're the one who brought it up.
I brought it up because that's the definition I think that you're trying to convey.
No, I'm not. I literally read
You
from the
said,
Hold on. I read from the dictionary. I did not read from the Bible. And Ephesians 5:22-23 does not have the definition of submit in there.
okay, so what is the definition of submit in the Bible?
There
Because it
is no
says,
definition of
it's,
submit. That's why I asked you where you're getting it from, and you said the Bible. And I was like, as far as I know, I've never heard of a definition of the word submit. There's no glossary, so I'm using the. Thank you so much for the gifts. I'm using the Oxford Language Dictionary, which is the definition that I read. So the definition of the word submit is not in the Bible. If you don't believe in the Bible, then I'm not going to talk about the Bible because you don't even care about it. So it doesn't make sense to use that. You're going to try to use the Bible to talk about this.
again, that's what I think your view of submission is. That's not my view of submission.
How are you going to tell me what my view is? And I've literally said it twice
You
now.
got the prompt.
I literally
What
told you I'm
what are you
reading
what are you
from
saying the
the
submission is?
Oxford Language Dictionary. So how
Go
are
ahead.
you
I'm
going to tell
listening.
me multiple times that I'm getting the definition from the Bible when I said it's not in the Bible? And then you said it is. And I said where? And you said I don't know. So how would I be getting this definition from the Bible when I said it's not in there? And then I told you I'm getting it from Oxford Language Dictionary. Okay, you're back on teacups, so
He has to go regroup and find some another another way to approach this because in the comments he said evolutionary psychology says that women want authority and leadership, and I was like, go look at my bio. Because I have psychology on there, and I'm like, before we engage in that, I just want you to know that I got some articles.
okay, G, you're back on teacups. Are you coming back or what? OMG. Okay, G, here we go again. Okay, you're back. Okay, what's going on? What are you doing?
What happened? I didn't hear what you said. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, you've been on teacups. We've been just sitting here looking at your profile picture with little teacups going on. So, okay, what's going on? I read I'm telling you where my definition of the word comes from, Oxford Language Dictionary. So what's next?
I can't hear you.
Okay, bye bye.
I'm sure. I'm sure. The funny thing is, like, guys, come on. I feel like we need a new reason to leave. You know, because this I can't hear you. You're breaking up. That's just getting really old. I'm gonna pick a fight, so I crash out. That's getting really old. At least, like, say my wife is going into labor, or like a dingo ate my baby, like something. You guys got to do something new.
I know. Oh gosh. Okay, Scratcher, thanks for coming up. What's your age? Here we go. Gotta collect your fifis. Scratcher, my goldfish ran away. Thank you for the heartbeat. Hey, Prosperity. Scratcher.
What's going on?
Hi. Thanks for coming up. What's your age?
I'm 21.
Okay. Do you disagree with the prompt?
Yes, I do, but I'm not like an angry, like I'm not an angry contestant. I disagree, but I want to understand like what you mean and why you say that.
What? Well, why do you disagree?
Well, I mean, I disagree. I think that it's beneficial for women and men to submit to the instructions given in the Bible. I'm a Christian, so I would say it's faith based.
Okay. So are you a farmer, Scratcher?
No, I'm not a farmer.
So why do you want to uphold the woman's curse but not the man's curse?
It says to work the ground.
Yeah,
If
farming.
I mean, I live in Mississippi. Like I grow my own plants, but I'm not a farmer. Like I hunt and fish and farm, but or grow, not farm. But I don't. I'm not a farmer.
Yeah, that's your curse. So if your curse is to work the land and eat the food that grows out of it as your curse, but you're not doing that, why should women live Eve's curse?
The call is to toil. So I guess the I would say the explanation for that is that that's a call towards toiling. So in the garden, Adam and Eve, they had no obligations. They were able to enjoy and go about what they so pleased, and then they were cursed with certain things. And even still, the curse is not a commandment. Like that's not an instruction. It's more of a speaking to how reality would change for humanity. So
And
like
the way that reality changed for Eve was her husband would rule over her. So the curse for Adam was that curse is the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field by sweat of your brow. By the sweat of your brow, you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return. So that is Adam's curse. Eve's
yeah,
curse was that her pain in childbirth would be increased, and her desire will be for her husband, and he would rule over her. We have epidurals to help with pain during childbirth, but your desire, but the husband ruling over you, that curse. Why are you insisting on that?
why am I insisting on it? Because the Bible instructs the woman to do so.
So what about when now we're under a new covenant since Jesus came, right?
Yeah.
So why aren't you a farmer?
The new covenant, are you saying that the new covenant requires for me to farm?
No, the old one does, but so that's why you're not farming, but you still want the woman to live out her curse. That's a curse,
Well, under
right?
the new covenant, so in the New
No,
Testament.
under the old covenant.
No. I'm responding. So I'm responding to what you said. In the new covenant, also instructs the woman to submit to the man. All
Well,
throughout.
Right, as a consequence of the curse. It
I'm
was
sorry.
cause and effect.
I'm sorry, Gigi. The first
The
part of
Old
what you said
Testament is,
cut out. I couldn't hear what you said when you first
yeah,
said.
I said the Old Testament is the cause, the New Testament is the effect. So now we are under a new, like the patriarchy, really, because it was a messianic culture. It formed because of the curse that had happened in the Old Testament. That was the literal cause and effect. So men were now subjugating women as a result of the curse that was wrought in the Old Testament. But we don't live by curses because that was the whole point of Jesus unaliving on the cross.
So in the New Testament, the woman is still instructed to submit to the man. The New Testament is the new covenant.
the
That's what I'm referring to.
because what Paul was when he wrote those letters, he was talking about Roman culture. That's reflective of Roman culture at the time, just like how he told slaves to obey their masters, because that was part of the culture at the time. It was man, woman, child. He was speaking just like how he said that it's a disgrace essentially for a man to have long hair and for a woman to pray with her hair uncovered. Like there were cultural norms that he was also speaking about. But that is reflective, as Gina was saying, of the curse, because that is not how God intended for women and men to interact with each other. That's not how there was no hierarchy before sin. So that's all a result of sin.
Well, yeah, I would say there's a lot of things in the world that are a result of sin that may have not been so due to the changing of the dynamic. But once again, throughout the entire New Testament, it's made clear that the woman is instructed to submit to the man. Again, throughout, I can't go off right now because I don't have the.
Well, no, it's not throughout. It's like maybe it's a handful of verses, but they're all referring to cultural norms at the time. Like I'm saying, like that's not
Where is that? Where is
that
that indicated?
it's indicated in that if you know the history of the time,
No,
like
I do know the history time. That's what I'm saying. Like, where is it?
so
Where is it inferred? Where does Paul infer that this is a instruction based off the structure of the current society? He gives them instructions, and so again, like you may not. I'm not sure if you're a Christian or not, but
yeah, I am. He
okay.
gives them just like he gave instructions for slaves to obey their masters, and Timothy talks about no matter how harsh they are, you're supposed to obey them. That was the culture. That is not the way God, and that's not the way God created Adam and Eve. He did not create a hierarchy. This is the result of sin, which Jesus came to put things right. It doesn't mean things are perfect. Obviously there's still a lot of wrongs, but the point is that dynamic is inappropriate. It is a curse. It is the result of sin. We don't have to live that way. You can choose to, just like you're choosing not to be a farmer, even though that is your curse. So you're choosing to live out the woman's curse but not yours. So if you think that those curses are appropriate, why aren't you a farmer?
Well, once again, like by the example you're giving, I do work the ground. Like I don't know. I own my own business, so yeah, I have the means to, but I produce my own food. I do buy vegetables from the store, but I grow some tomatoes. So
You grow
I
some
mean,
tomatoes. Well, that's
yeah.
not enough to live on. So you're not living off of the food that you're growing. I mean, you might it supplements, but it's not how you're like.
That's not what the instruction was, though. So you're kind of adding a connotation that wasn't there.
Okay, it says
It didn't say eat enough to. It didn't say eat only from the ground. It didn't say grow enough for you to eat and eat only that. And again, I disagree with your interpretation of the curse, but I'm not going to contest you.
it's not my interpretation. It's what it literally says.
Well, yeah,
It
but again,
says,
it doesn't
through
say.
painful toil, you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow, you will eat your food until you return to the ground. So then you're saying that because you grow tomatoes, you're living this curse. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not. That was just me being silly. I'm saying, like, I mean, technically, I do some growing, but I'm not going to argue on that point. Like, that was just me saying something.
Okay,
but,
so then my point is, okay, so then my question is, if you don't really think, if you're not advocating for all men to at least grow tomatoes, why are you insisting on women living their curse but not the man?
Well, I have two responses to that. So one, I don't think that women were cursed to submit to men. I don't think that's necessarily cursed. It was
Part of
instructions. But again, so and my second thing, which is the main thing, and this is why I said I disagreed with your interpretation of the quote unquote curse. I don't believe that instruction of working the ground. I believe that was a shift in reality. So at the time, they didn't have to toil to, because at that time you have to remember, like, there was no means of production, so the Bible wouldn't reference like going to the store or this or that. What he was saying was, now you must toil and suffer to obtain what you need to live. So instead
That's
of
not what it said.
So let me ask you a question. Why did he use the word curse? If you're saying you don't believe it was a curse, why did he use the word curse?
No. I didn't say I didn't believe it was a curse. I said that I don't agree with how you interpret it.
How can you disagree with it being interpreted as a curse if he used the word curse?
No. I said I don't disagree that it was a curse. I disagree with how it's interpreted.
Wait.
So are you disagreeing that God cursed Eve, that her husband will rule over her? Are you disagreeing with that?
No, I'm not disagreeing.
Okay. So are you disagreeing with that is called submission in practice? That if a husband ruling over his wife, that would be the wife being submissive? Or do you disagree with that?
Because the definition of submitting is yielding to a higher force or superior force or authority. When somebody rules over you, they are your authority.
Well, yielding to a higher force or authority. So it doesn't have to be a higher force. It can simply be an authority. Like
Okay,
there's
so
Authority
either
children.
would be
way, the
somebody who's
person,
ruling over you.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they rule
it's the
from a
same
place of
word.
superiority.
Okay.
If you are in authority over your children, you're in a higher place. Every that's why it's called authoritarian government, authoritarianism, authoritarian child rearing. We know what the word means. So if we know that authority means that, and that she was cursed, that her husband will rule over you, and that is synonymic for submission, then it would
Yeah.
stand to reason that part of the curse was submission. I don't understand why we're
I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is you can submit to an authority without having less value than the authority. They may have a higher
That's
amount of
not,
authority than
that's
you.
not, I didn't talk about value. We're talking about superior force or authority. So I never mentioned value. What we're talking about is submission. And that
Okay, then
Eve's
I
curse,
agree.
so Eve's curse was that her husband would rule over her. But you're not advocating for men to take up farming, right?
No, because once again, I said I think that was a shifting in reality. So there was no means of
But
production. So hold on, let me respond.
why didn't it,
Let,
if
let,
you said it
let me
already, there's
respond
no
to what
means
you're
of
saying.
production, they couldn't, you already said that. But my question is, he could have said something else, that you have to work all the days of your life, whatever that may be, but he was very
Yeah.
specific in what that work was.
But he also could have said, and you may only eat from the ground, but he didn't say that. So he wasn't as specific as you're claiming he was.
I'm literally reading it verbatim. So
she literally just read it, and it does say that. So I'm not sure why you keep changing this.
Where does it say that
not
you
like you
must
couldn't
eat
have.
only from the ground? Only from the ground. Where does it say that? Only from the ground. It does not say that.
Oh, so if he had said the word only, you're saying that you would agree that you should be a farmer.
He didn't say it.
The
so
thing
it's
is,
irrelevant.
what I said was, why aren't you advocating for men to at least grow tomatoes? Because the curse is he should grow food. It said that he should grow food. It doesn't say that you're saying. It doesn't say he should only grow food, but he should be farming in some aspect. All men should be farming in some respect.
That's what I'm saying.
Why aren't you advocating for
men? Hold on, let me respond.
Okay.
I don't think he was. Hold on, let me respond, please. Let me respond. I don't think he was saying.
Nobody's talking. Nobody's talking.
Okay, all right, here I go. I don't think he was saying every man must now farm. It's just now the means of production that was happening naturally in the garden was no longer going to be automatic. The male or the men would now have to work and toil for it to be the same as it was.
Yeah, that's
like
really
again,
and the woman would have to submit.
That's a really convenient way to manipulate what was very specific. It doesn't say that you're supposed to work for the rest of your life. It tells you exactly the work you're supposed to be doing for the rest of your life. At the very least, if you're saying that the woman should be submissive, should submit to her husband who's ruling over her, very least, then you should be also advocating or believe that men should be farming in some aspect, whether it's tomatoes or whatever, cucumbers or something, at least one thing that they're growing, because that is literally the curse. Since you're saying it doesn't say only, at least that should be part of their life. But I'm gonna move on because you're not I don't feel like you're being like
I'm telling you exactly like the curse. It literally said it does not. It's
I know I read it
like twice. And toiling. It's not in reference to literally working the ground.
It's just very convenient. It's just very convenient.
It literally says very specifically that you're supposed curse is the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat food from it. That's the toil. The toil is the painful toil of the ground. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. The toiling is producing the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow, you will eat from it until you return to the ground. Since from it you were taken, for dust you are, to dust you will return.
Let's say that's true.
It is true.
Why?
I just read it.
Okay. Why from that point in the Bible is that not modeled by every single man? Why does God call other men to do other things?
People don't listen.
Because of sin. That's the whole point. That's the whole point,
No,
because
no.
of
So
sin.
why does God call one man to be a prophet and another man to be a shepherd and another man to be a government official? Why are they not formed in the Bible? Men of God
You
who
forget,
were
though,
not.
that these people still had to eat. You forget that these people still had to eat. So they were
Yeah,
still
but
tilling the
they
ground and
weren't
working the
farming
land.
themselves. But I'm saying
They
every single man is
were.
not
They
doing
still had little gardens and stuff. One and two, there were lots of things that were going on, and there are exceptions to the rule. But like the vast majority, unless you have been directed to not do that,
again.
then the instruction is that this is your curse. If you believe in the curse, if you believe in upholding the curses from Genesis 3.
So Moses, again, one of God's prophets, he verifiably so did not work and till the ground himself. That was not his role.
But Moses was also a murderer, and so he was real far off of his. The point is, if God has not instructed you to be a Moses, to be a prophet, to be a whatever he has called you to be, assume that it is your curse. Just like it is a woman's curse to be submissive. Assume it's your curse
Okay.
unless you've heard from him personally.
Okay. Well, I'll agree to disagree, and I hope you guys can come to know the Lord. Because, ooh,
Oh, shut the hell up.
You
see
know,
that?
Scratcher,
No.
you're
No.
so be
No, and I don't have any problem saying that. After all of that, we just proved that we are biblically literate, that we know scripture, that we understand not only the Old Testament, but the New Testament. And he is going to be bitchy because he didn't win his argument and try to pretend that none of that happened. That is the most disingenuous, disrespectful crap I have ever heard.
Yeah, and that's why people don't like Christians. I mean, that's why people don't like Christians. Because what'd you say?
I said I wouldn't like us either, because after you talk to someone in good faith and waste your daggone time, tell me you hope I know the Lord. Sir, apparently I know him better than you.
Yeah, I mean, to be condescending like that, like, I mean, to just be like, to do that at the very end. We don't agree. It did not get personal. Like, we did not come for him personally, but he just had to do it. And that's the thing that I mean, and I am Christian, but that is exactly why people don't like Christians, because they do that crap. Yeah, she dropped you, Scratcher, because you were a jerk at the end. To be condescending and belittling. And after we said we're Christian, it's like, I hope you get to know the Lord. Like, how dare you? Like, when Christians do that crap to people, whether they're Christian or not, you are not representing Christianity in a good way. Just so you know, Scratcher. That's appalling.
I do apologize for saying shut that H up. I know you don't do profanity, and I am so sorry, but that really just, it hurts. And you know what I mean? Like, because Christians are already a-holes. We don't need this kind of rep out here, like making it look like we can't have
Christians. That's why Christians have the reputation, because people like that go around saying crap like that. Just because you don't agree, now you have to like be condescending, like as you have some sort of superiority in the situation. It's just disgusting, and it's not necessary. It's not beneficial, except for you. I guess I gave you a little ego boost or something. Is that what that did? Hi, Osiris. Thanks for coming up. What's your age?
I'm 47.
Okay. Do you disagree with the prompt?
I do.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, the thing is, women should look at this. Do you want a family? Do you want kids? And the thing is, men are only going to accept a certain type of behavior. Not that we're trying to, how can I say, dictate a woman, but there's certain type of things that we like in women. If we marry her, she's sacred to us, right? She's not sacred to the world,
Yeah.
right? We don't want her. Listen, we don't want her wearing certain type of things that might.
Sacred. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. Wait. Why do you think that women should submit to men in relationships?
Why do I think? Well, she want to
Yeah.
procreate, right? That's the
What does
that's the main
procreation
reason.
have to do with submitting to
That's the
a
main
woman?
reason why people get into a relationship. And if you want to procreate, you have to submit to that
No,
man.
you don't have to submit to procreate.
Or you can't be with a dog and a cat,
What?
but you want a relationship, right?
Wait, you don't have to submit to a man to have children.
Well, the thing is this. Yo, you could be a baby mama,
You don't have
I
to
but the
didn't
thing is
submit
you
to
won't have a
a
monogamous
man.
relationship if you
No.
don't submit to a man.
Okay, Osiris.
I had a baby and I didn't submit to my husband. How did that happen?
Well, that's because you had sex outside of marriage.
Oh, I just said I had a baby with my husband.
Okay, but the thing is, there's certain things that you're going to submit to him, right?
No,
Don't so don't come out here like you just
no,
disrespecting him every chance you get.
no. I'm saying we were equal.
But there's certain things when he asks you to do something, you're going to submit to it. And
No,
it's
That's
not
not
out of
submission.
and
that's
it's
not
That's
submission.
listen,
no.
Jiggy, it's not
Osiris.
out of
Osiris.
dictatorship.
Osiris.
It's out of love, though.
No. Agreeing, being agreeable, deciding to, go along with what the other person is saying is not submission. If your child says, "Hey, Dad, will you play, tea party with me?" Oh yeah, I'm submitting to my daughter. Like you're just agreeing to do things. Like I don't know what it's like. The power tripping is just crazy. Like that's not submission. And I don't
See,
even
that's
know where submission comes into play with having children with your husband.
you're looking at it in a negative manner. That's
No,
why.
I'm
That's why.
looking at it based on the definition of the word.
So,
That is not what submission is. If he says, "Hey, do you want to, buy this car or that car? I really want this car." And you're like, "Okay, fine." That's not submission. That's agreeing.
so if he says like, "Hey, baby, I really don't like you going out looking like that. Can you put on something else? Are you willing to submit?"
That's not submission. If you agree, that's not submitting. That's agreeing.
Give me your example of a submission.
Is if he says, "Hey, baby, I don't want you to wear that," and he's like, "So go change," and then you have to do it whether you want to or not, because he's the authority. That's what submission means, that you're yielding to a superior force or authority, and he can enforce obedience. If
Okay,
you
well,
do
see,
not obey, then there
the
will
way
be
you said it,
consequences.
the way you said
That's the
it, the way
definition.
it was the way you articulated the way he was trying to force her. Then yeah, I can understand it because that's not in a love tone, right? So if he was supposed to like, "Hey, baby, I love you. Your outfit looks nice, it's beautiful, but I want you to wear this," right? That
Yeah,
that
it
is
doesn't
submission.
matter. Even if he
His
said it that
delivery was
way,
love. His
but even if
delivery
he
was
said
love.
it that way, like, "Hey, sweet, oh, I love that's my favorite outfit. I just want you to wear that at the house. I don't want anybody else to see it because I just think you look so good in it. Oh, it's so cute." And then she's like, "No, I'm gonna wear it out because it's my." Hold on.
What's the problem with submission?
Hold
What's the
on,
biggest
Osiris.
problem?
I'm still talking. So even in that scenario, if he was like, if she said, "No, I'm gonna wear it out because it's really cute and it's my favorite color," and then he was like, "Oh no, you better go. No, you need to go change." And he like, "I'm putting my foot down." That is when she has to listen because he can give orders and enforce obedience. That is what authority is. So but when you have somebody who says, now, if they have that relationship where maybe she's like saying, "Oh, you're wearing gray sweatpants and a little bit too much is showing and I don't want everyone seeing, your business." And you say, "Okay, I won't wear the gray sweatpants because, I know how, that can look." So you guys have that thing where you both say what you don't want the other one to wear, and you agree to listen to the other person because it's important to them. That's okay. That's agreeing. But enforcing that on somebody is different. Toby put his foot down and got it cut off. You can unmute Osiris. Osiris, if you tap your profile picture and hit the microphone, you can unmute. Okay.
Sorry. So yeah. If you're dictating your suggestion, yeah, then that's wrong. But if you're showing submission and you asking, and it's, to me, it's love, right? Because if you submit to your man, that's love, right? That's not something that's evil
That's
or
Osiris. That's not submission. And that's the thing that men are so obsessed with this word of submission when a lot of times we're talking about partnership or agreeing or being agreeable or whatever. That's not submission. If he says, I really feel uncomfortable with you wearing that, and she's like, okay, she's choosing to do that. As I said. But if he says, I really feel comfortable with that, and she's like, I'm gonna wear it anyway, and he's like, no, you're not. You need to go upstairs and change, or we're gonna have a problem. And then she's like,
our main
yes, I
thing
gotta
is
change.
not our main thing is not being willing to compromise. That's the problem that we have with a lot of women who are strong-minded, right? And when you're strong-minded and you're not
Compromise is not submission.
or be submissive to your own strong will, that's the thing that builds friction with us, and that's the thing that we don't like. And then when you want to argue,
you guys are control freaks. Like,
Osiris.
No. I want to know what gives you all the right to think that you have the right to tell women what to do. I really want to know. Like, what makes you think that women don't have the right to have as much voice as you, as much control over their life and their decisions as you do over your life and your decisions? Why do you think that women don't have the right, every right that you have? What I would really like to know.
Well, when you think about this, just think about this. A father gives guidance to his daughter, right? So why wouldn't a husband or a boyfriend give guidance to his girlfriend or wife?
Because he's not her father.
It
So
does.
hold on. A father relationship with a daughter relationship who is a minor is very different than the father relationship with an adult daughter, right?
Still
Right?
need to be.
Hold on, right?
Hold on. Let me throw this out.
Osiris, right? A father with a 10-year-old is different than a father with a 15-year-old girl, right? Or an 18-year-old woman, or a 35-year-old woman, right? Aren't these different relationships?
It's different in the context, but
Okay.
So
Somebody paid to drop you. That's what the money pew pew was. Like, I did want to know, like, because I don't think they really have an answer other than they're just control freaks. But they are not your father.
So Osiris, you were dropped because somebody paid one money pew pew in order to drop you. If you or anybody else would like to pay 2 money pew pews, Osiris, you are more than welcome to come up, but those are the rules on the live. If somebody pays, we do have to drop you immediately, even if it is mid-sentence. So no disrespect intended, it's just the rules of the game. While we're at it, we're at 70,000 likes about. If you guys could just do me a favor, I'd really like to get Angela to 100K by the end of the live. We don't really have that much more time left, but if you can do me a favor and just tap the screen and get her to 100K likes, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much for gifting the host. It is much appreciated. It is not a requirement, of course. You can always just like this live, and that is completely free to do. But if you would like to gift her gift goal are roses or anything else that you might like to give. We just, again, ask that you refrain from any isms or personal attacks in the comments. If we do see personal attacks, we will mute you. We'll start with 5 minutes. If it continues, we might mute you for the whole live. You may even get blocked if it's really egregious. So just please keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Gigi. Okay, so I don't think they really have an answer other than they feel like that they should control women. Like, as somebody said, having an opinion is hard-headed. Like, what makes you, so you have an opinion, but I guess because you have a dangler, you're allowed to have an opinion? Okay. Okay, G, I don't know. This is their third time up here, so
Sorry about that. I had to chase my fish down the street.
Did you find it?
Oh, but again, yeah, I got him. But again, I don't agree with the submission part of the Bible or the dictionary. I don't agree that a woman should do that. I just agree that women love a man that leads, that provides, and is an authoritarian. That's what I agree with.
No, they don't.
I agree with that.
Okay. Okay. So why do you think women should submit to men in relationships?
I didn't say submit. I said cooperate. But I agree that
No,
women like
uh,
leaders.
we're talking about submitting. So if you don't want to talk about submitting, then I don't know why you're up here.
Okay, well, yeah, that's what I wanted to clear up. That's all I'm saying. I don't agree with that. They
Okay.
submit
So
to
you
just
said
because he
you
has a
don't
penis.
agree with submit, but you think that women want an authoritarian. Authoritarians favoring or enforcing strict obedience to authority, especially that of the government, at the expense of personal freedom. So you think that women want to give up their personal freedom.
For a relationship to survive, yeah, I do.
You think
So we are. Go ahead, Angel. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I think women want leaders. Point
Why would
blank
we need to
sinker.
do that to survive? Like, what does that mean when you say to survive? Like, what are you
When did
talking
I
about?
say to survive? I said
You just
leaders.
You
I
said
said
to
leaders.
survive.
you literally just said if for a relationship to
Oh,
survive.
for a
Yeah.
relationship to survive, yeah. For a relationship to survive,
Oh, for a
the
relationship
man
to
has
survive.
yes. For a relationship to thrive, the man has to be in the leadership role, in my opinion,
Why?
because men take
Okay.
accountability. Women aren't good at accountability.
Okay. Well, third
Bye.
time's the charm. Yeah, somebody drop you. That's what the money pew pew was.
We take accountability for dropping you. There you go. There's some accountability. So somebody paid to drop you. G. It'd be 2 months pews for you to come back up once again. It's just the way the rules are. Although this time I am personally very happy and thank you for sending that in. If I sit up here and I say all men like anchovies, that's what they want. You can't tell me any differently. I know what men want because I was, my father's a man and I have a brother and I had a husband and all men like anchovies. Do you know how stupid I would sound if I stood up here and I told
Or
men what they liked and what they wanted?
or they like to put lemon on everything. Because our dad loves to put lemon on everything. Popcorn, like he puts lemon on everything. Lemon cake, like so all men love lemon. All men love
He
lemon
puts
and
lemon on
lemon
lemon.
flavored everything. Because my dad loves lemon flavored everything. Popcorn, salmon, I can't even think of everything.
Yep. Yep.
All men
And then
like
my
it.
husband saw him do it. My husband saw him do it one time, and now he puts lemon on everything. So all men love lemon. That is literal. It is. And do you understand
You broke up.
how demented you'd have to be to truly believe that?
They don't
Can you hear
care.
me?
They just want control. Yeah. Hey, six figure.
Hey y'all, happy Monday. I know I'm not a op, but y'all ninjas disgust me. Is that a personal attack? Y'all disgust me because like what? Like men.
Okay, J Hop.
Like y'all really y'all want so bad, especially I don't know what I could say up here because I know y'all don't like personal attacks, but black men, y'all want to be the slave master so freaking bad. Like y'all want to be the white supremacists of the black community. I keep saying this. What is patriarchy got y'all in a chokehold? Like y'all really want to control women. Y'all want your women, the women that actually give a damn about y'all, because I know y'all think we hate black men when we don't. The ones that actually give a damn about y'all don't want to y'all don't want to collab. Y'all don't want to work together. You just want to control and manipulate and dominate the same people, the only people, black women, that is going to come to your rescue, not me, but going to come to your rescue when you know what I mean? When stuff is going down. So like, why do y'all want to be the white man of the black community so bad? We're not with it. The submission, the authority, we don't need leaders. We don't need none of that. We really don't need y'all, to be honest, right? They tolerate y'all. Okay, I don't. But they tolerate y'all. We don't need y'all. We tolerate y'all. So you better be lucky
Not me.
Yeah, you better be lucky we even care a little bit, right? So like I cannot figure out why these men want to control women so bad. Is it insecurity? Is it jealousy? Like something like it really needs. What's wrong with y'all? Especially black men, like what, and white men too, obviously. But I'm a black woman. What is wrong with y'all? Like y'all are sick.
Yeah, I
I
haven't
just
done
want
this
to clarify.
content. Okay, Gene.
Go ahead, Andrew. Oh, I just want to say, I just want to clarify. I don't hate personal attacks at all. I just don't want people to just be up, just calling people ugly and like, you know what I mean? Like, we just don't go to like that
Yeah,
level.
just
But no, if you want to give your,
General.
yeah, but if you want to, call people, we want you to call people out. It's not about that. I just, people get on here and like, oh, this person's ugly. And, like, we're just not going there.
Got you. Okay, yeah. That's I can't with y'all. Y'all really do disgust me. Like seriously. Why does a grown woman need to be controlled? Why does a grown woman need an authority figure? Why does a grown woman need to be led? Are y'all okay? I'm grown. I don't need nobody to control me, make any decisions for me. I don't need a leader or an authoritarian. I'm grown. I have my own autonomy. I'm going to make decisions for myself. Why do you think we need y'all to do that? It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. They're conditioned to believe they deserve it. They're conditioned to believe that it's the right. Like somebody said in the comments that it's protection. Like they still haven't explained where the protection's coming from, and why is submission required for protection? Because it's not. It's just a way. It's control. It is control. It is because, I mean, I think men more readily submit to other men in the hierarchy of patriarchy, and then they know that through patriarchy women are below them, so they think that women should submit to them regardless of, their socioeconomic status, their whoever they are. Women are always below them in patriarchy, and they feel like women should submit to them, and
And
it's
protection
sick
from who? The call is coming from inside the house, boo.
every time. And so because you have to listen. No, we don't. That's the point. We don't have to listen. Women typically do better when they're not with men. Women literally live longer when they're not with men. Women make more money when they're not with men. Women have less stress when they're not with men. Women have lower cortisol when they're not with men. Women are outpacing men in home ownership. Women are outpacing men in college degrees. And we've been held back for thousands of years, and we are closing the gap swiftly. So actually, we're doing quite well not listening to you. It would behoove you to listen to us because we know what we're doing. Actually, that's why you all live longer when you're with us. Your stress goes down when you're with us. You make more money when you're with us. So maybe you should listen to us. How about that?
There it is.
But,
She said that.
the ego gets in the way.
And then where y'all
Yep,
leading us to? Where exactly y'all leading us to? When we the
destruction.
one with the degrees, we the one with the degrees. We the one buying houses. We're the most prevalent ones starting businesses. We're the ones raising the kids. What else are we doing? We're the ones not in jail. So where exactly are y'all leading us to?
I know. They're leading in violent crimes and SA rates and all actually offenses, all crimes. That's what they're leading. So yeah, maybe you need to take a
I
page
know what
from our book.
trauma.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so funny. Who was
And
that?
this is why. Go ahead, Andrew.
Timu. He said, "Y'all yap our ears off," and you've been here the entire 2 hours and 3 minutes, Timu, listening.
Timu's
And you're
here
here,
every day.
yeah, and you were
Timu, you
here
love
yesterday,
us.
and you were
Just go
here
on and
Friday.
propose. Just propose to Angela and get it over with, Moo or Sheehan. I don't know which you are, but go ahead and just propose and get it over with.
Cause like the way teenagers are more than some kids. I mean, it's just so weird to be like, oh, there you are again. Like, why are you back? No one made you come, no one made you stay, no one made you comment. I should go and look and see if I can see. I don't want to get kicked out. of the live. So anyway, the if anybody disagrees, yeah, he probably does follow me. That's how he knows when I'm going live.
Y'all can drop me. I just wanted to share that.
Okay, thanks for coming up. So anybody disagree with the prompts? Anybody else? I was gonna see. Anyway, they can never explain. I mean, when they say that there's protection, and that that's what women want. Submission must be done, love. No, I don't think I don't think somebody who loves you would want you to submit to them. Because why would why women don't need to submit? The thing is, like, authority implies, hopefully, that the person's qualified to be in authority, that the person is capable of being in the authority position, and the people who are being led or submitting to the authority also need the authority figure around. So, like, parents, they need children. Parents, they need children. Children, they need their parents. They need the authority and the leadership and the guidance and the care and all of that of their parents, because they're children. They don't know how to make money. Depending on how old they are, they can't feed themselves. They can't work, all of that. At work, hopefully your boss, like an authority figure in that way, has worked their way up or has some education or degrees or experience or combination to show that they are capable of being in that position. It's needed because there needs to be, like, someone who's leading in a hierarchy and things like that. Between two people, there is nothing that a woman needs from a man in that way. It's not needed. Women don't need to be led. Women don't need an authority figure. Everybody can use guidance, counsel, mentors, all of that. And you might even go to your partner or your spouse or whatever for some of those things. But that's you as an adult seeking their guidance, seeking their counsel in certain situations. But for men to assert that women should submit to them in all things as if they are experts in everything. You're looking at it as bowing down, but it's not how it should be. She respects the authority. That's the thing. He should not be her authority. So the definition of submit is to accept or yield to a superior force or to the authority or will of another person. So that is, and then the definition of authority is the power or right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience. Why in the world would you want to be married to a person who can enforce obedience or give you orders? Why in the world would you want, as an adult, somebody to be able to give you orders? I didn't want my parents to give me orders when I was a child. Why in the world would I be an adult and then be like, okay, now that I'm an adult, now I'm looking for somebody else to give me orders? And the average age of women getting married is around 30. So she leaves her parents' house, maybe gets a degree, may live on her own, and then she gets married and now she needs authority. Now she needs somebody to lead her. Now she needs someone to give her orders and enforce obedience. Enforce obedience. I mean, like, as if. It doesn't.
sense. No, it's really just as logical as they like to claim to be. It's illogical. And ladies, and I'm going to say this to you because I fell for it. I fell for the propaganda. I was raised very conservative Christian, although my parents did not ever, tell me I had to get married or anything like that. Because of how I grew up, I had ideas about marriage and that, like that you should get married early and whatnot. My parents never forced it on me, but I was raised with people in my life that looked at it that way. This is why you hear the older women tell you, do not put a man before your education. This is why they tell you to wait until you're out of college to get married, or they'll tell you to at least wait until you're out of college to have babies. And it's not because they're not positives and blessings. They are. But what the older women knew was that it was going to fall on you every single time. Even if you were still together, 9 times out of 10, the brunt of the labor in the relationship will fall on you. Now, I am not saying there aren't very equal, egalitarian men. There are, but there are very few of them. So if for anybody here, if you have a question about if I should do this, get your degree, get your certification, or get whatever education, training, nail tech, hairdresser. If you want a 4-year degree, get your master's, whatever it is, get it, lock it in, and do not bend when they tell you that no man is going to want you. That is not true. When you are in these, I'll say, more affluent places that maybe your education or training might afford you, you will meet men who think differently than the ones we're hearing on this live, okay? And I'm not talking about affluent. This is exposure to the world. There are people out that see beyond these transactional ways of living, okay? So make your education and your future your priority, because that is their greatest threat, is an educated woman. Because as they say, why is it that college educated women are the most highly divorced? Because they don't have to stay when a relationship isn't serving them, sir. That's why. Because maybe other women are financially locked in and trapped, and that's what they want.
Yeah, because fundamentally, this relationship dynamic only benefits the man. They make it seem beneficial to the woman, like you're being protected, you're being provided for. But what if you think about it, just like subjectively, if you can take the gender out of it and the social condition, which is very hard, wouldn't it be a red flag that if they're saying they will give you money and they will protect you, all you have to do is give over your autonomy? Let me make decisions for you. You be subject to me. And if you don't listen, then I can enforce obedience on you. I'm going to give you orders, make decisions for you, and enforce obedience. All you have to do is submit, and then everything will be given to you. And the first thing is, everything is not, typically speaking, just because of how much everything costs. That's not happening. Most women who are submitting are not having all of their needs met. Most women are working. Most women are definitely, even if they're not working outside of the home, are the ones doing all of the caretaking for their children, their home, and everything. Most women are not having all of their needs met. But even if they were, if you had to give up your autonomy, your agency for this protection and this provision, and then they say love you, does that make sense? And as Sarah's saying, definitely trapped. That is how they've trapped women for thousands of years, by limiting women's autonomy and agency, by not allowing women to get education, have bank accounts, work in most industries, and be able to make enough money to really support themselves on their own, be able to rent apartments, be able to get business loans, and all of those things really hampered women's ability to be upwardly mobile and support themselves and or their families, even if something happened to their husband. So this only benefits men. This does not benefit women, because if they loved you so much, why wouldn't they want your voice to be equal to yours? Why wouldn't they want your voice to be equal to theirs? If they love you so much, why would they require your agency, your autonomy? Why wouldn't they say, I love her. we're in a relationship. Maybe we even have kids together. Let's make these decisions together.
Right. Imagine only agreeing to protect and feed your children as long as they were obedient to you. And I'm not saying that we don't require obedience from our children. We do, we encourage it, right? But imagine that the caveat to whether or not I'm going to provide and protect for a child would be, or like enter into a love relationship with them, to regard their feelings, to safeguard them. You know what I mean? The way that we do in any relationship would be if they listen to you. And that's exactly what they're saying. And I know it's a different relationship, but they like to compare it to the parent-child relationship. So that's why I'm doing it. It's the same thing. You should not require me turning over my autonomy in order for you to enter into a love relationship with me. That should never be a requirement. What should be a requirement is that I love and respect you back the way you love and respect me. That is the requirement of a romantic relationship. All the other things about how you split finances, all of that stuff, that is going to come as a natural byproduct of the love in the relationship. And they tell you differently. They are intentionally misleading, because every American can understand finance and transaction, because we're very transactional here in the United States and really around the world now. And so it tickles that part of the brain that goes, I guess that kind of is fair. Like, I guess if he's gonna, like, do stuff for me, then this is kind of what no, we don't do things for the people we love because of what we get in return. We do it out of love. And when we take it to transaction, we see what happens. This is what happens.
Yeah. And even like the disturbing guy who was saying that, you take care of your kids because they're your legacy. Like, everything, should not be transactional. I don't even understand that concept, because I don't think you're really talking about love. You're talking about something else. I don't even know what that is, but you're not talking about love.
Obedience.
Yeah, it's
talking about
obedience.
obedience.
But a relationship dynamic where you take care of your kids because they may go to the NBA. Like, what are the chances of that even happening? Yeah, a business deal. Exactly.
That was sick, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm taking care of my child whether or not they make it to the NBA or not.
Because they didn't even ask to be born, first of all. So now you're like, okay, well, I gave birth to you, so you're my legacy, so now you have to do what I want you to do. Is this like the world just revolving around them? Where like everybody is situated, like they seriously have main character syndrome. Like the women in their lives, their children, it's all about facilitating them, making sure they look good, making sure that it's all about them. It only benefits men. This only benefits men. Traditional relationships only benefit men.
And it puts me, Angela, when they come up here talking about stuff. And, and for those who don't know, Angela and I are sisters. I am the younger and very much funny sister. She's older and rules with an iron fist. Talk about submission, y'all. But our parents have been married for 43 years, right? I don't remember.
45.
And 45. Okay, I see. I missed a few years. I was asleep. But they have an egalitarian relationship. And my father also does a lot of what men would consider like the woman's job. My father does laundry. My father cooks. I swear at one point, my brother, sister, and I might have unalived if he hadn't been giving us our medicine, because my mother would always forget it, like to give us our medicine when we had antibiotics. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we grew up seeing that it's possible. Okay. And even from an old school guy, that he is, you know what I mean? Because he was born in a certain time period where that was not very popular. And my mother is a very dynamic and strong woman, and he loves that about her, that she is articulate and fiery most of the time. And then he comes in and he's like, hey, your mom, you know how she is, but like, it's a give and take, because they both talk about each other to us. But they have, managed it. So I don't want to hear you all come up here and tell us that no man's going to want you. I saw it because I've seen my mother have it. So don't come up here and try to gaslight me into thinking that it's not possible.
I know the other day, my mom's always moving stuff around, and my dad had told her, like, don't get any ideas about this like storage unit or whatever. And she's like, I got ideas. I'm always gonna have ideas, and that's why he chose me, because I have ideas. So like, yeah, submission, never seen her, never heard her, never don't know her, never met her. So yeah.
There ain't meta submission, not in her life.
No. Okay. Hi, Hakeem. Thanks for coming up. What's your age?
I'm 47. What's your age?
Okay. You disagree with the prompt?
Yeah, I disagree, but I disagree to an extent. I don't think that it's more. I think that the way that the topic is worded is incorrect. I don't think that.
Okay, hold on. This is the topic we're talking about, and this is the way it's worded. So if you don't want to respond to it the way it's worded, that's fine, but I'm just going to move on to the next person.
So yeah, I wanted to respond to it, but I think that the way that it's worded should be worded differently. So submit.
I'm not rewording it. So if you're going to respond to it the way it's worded, you can stay. If not, you can move on.
So all right, so yeah, this is the main issue right here. The main issue is, like, right now, you're being dominant. You're not actually working with me. I'm trying to talk to you as a person.
I'm being dominant because this is my life. I wrote the prompt, and then you had the audacity to come up and say, you worded the prompt wrong, so I'm going to tell you the way it should be worded, and then respond to it the way I think it should be worded. How does that make any sense?
I didn't say
Like
you worded it
going
wrong.
to
I
a
said
Mexican restaurant saying, I really feel like Italian. Your menu's written wrong. Like, why come up if you don't think that it's written the right way? Why request up? I don't even understand.
so. Instead, what I'm saying is this: instead of submission, I think that it should be more of alignment. I think that everybody needs to shine.
Okay, I said multiple times, respond to the prompt as it's written. And he's going to say, well, I think it should be alignment. So this is what they do. They say, it's written wrong. This is the way it should be written. And now I'm going to respond to it the way I think it should be written. Write your own prompt about alignment and have a lot about that. That's not what I'm talking about. Exactly. It's nothing to do with
Angela. The way you quietly just do with alignment.
Yeah, because like I told him multiple times, and he said, "See, what you're being is dominant." Like that's gonna shut me down, because as we know, people get dominated around here every day. Okay, so
that was a compliment.
Dominated.
I saw.
I know
your face light up.
Word. It's my favorite word. And actually,
you don't understand. That was a compliment.
Yeah, actually, I am starting a podcast. I'm starting working on it. You know what the name of it is? Dominate. That's literally the name of the podcast. Dominate. So I don't have a problem being dominant. It's not a curse word to me. It's not going to make me feel like, oh, well, let me just raise my voice and be a little softer so that I can be feminine for you. Because I would hate for a man to think that I'm dominant. I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap.
You guys don't understand that was kind of like her kink. Wow. like, talk to me, baby. Yes, you're dominant. You're so dominant.
Yeah, alignment is not submission. Exactly. And that's the point. When you change the words in the prompt, or even if you might change the order, it could mean something different. So that's not what the prompt says. Women are dominant. Yeah, exactly, AB. Women are dominant. Or can be. All aren't, and all men aren't dominant. But there's nothing wrong with it, and you're not gonna yeah, so anyway. So now we're gonna calm down. We're gonna go to Mod Circle. Oh, I meant to add something to this, to say like friendlies also. Friendlies are welcome. So we're shifting gears. There weren't any other ops waiting to come up, but so now we're shifting gears to just kind of like wind down after which finds entertaining. We love it for Well, the thing is, they always talk about how they're so tough and strong and, just tell it like it is and take it like a man. And, women are so fragile and emotional, yet they come up and are so fragile and emotional and crash out over the most basic things. Like the most recent one is that men don't have the seed. Yeah, emotional crybabies. The way they're crashing out. Well, you're just making it seem like we don't really do anything. Like we're not really important. And I'm like, this is not my opinion. This is called biology. I was like, I've never thought of having an emotional opinion about biology. Like the way that they just like can't handle. I mean, they can't handle it. They can't handle it. So like, I'm just talking to them like, adults that they are. And if they can't handle it, I mean, that's why they try to become personal and everything. They think it's going to stop me. And yeah, I know. I'm going to do the seed one again this week because it's becoming my new fave. After a husband should take his wife's last name.
Or the seed one?
Yeah. Yeah, that is why they date children, because they're malleable. They're controlled, more easily controlled. Yeah, they're crying. That seed one just... And I did some clips from Friday, from last week, and it's also really disturbing how much they don't know biology. Because, I mean, like, I'm not talking about... like really like deep, like really like you have to have your master's in biology or something. I mean, it's just like basic, like how many chromosomes humans have. Like I disturbing. Yeah, that's true, Legendary. Their knowledge in general is pretty bad. And going back to what Gina and Therese were talking about, like anti-intellectualism and education becoming woke and feminine. It's sad because we're talking to all adults. We're not even talking to kids in school. These are all adults who should know the basics. Yeah, they don't think with logic, they think with ego. You're right. And they're leading with emotions because their ego is all wrapped up in emotions. And somebody actually said, I don't know if it was part of it, but I think I might have clipped it just to try and keep it smaller. Thank you for the heart me. He said something like that the woman fertilizes the egg because the man has a seed and he has everything that she needs, that the life needs. And that the woman fertilizes the egg. Just say anything.
That like men will just say anything, and I'd be like, yeah, but like now I see it. It's like they will literally say anything. I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
It's
to
a no for me. Yeah. I clipped him, the guy who said we had 23 chromosomes. He's like, so you have how many chromosomes do you have right now? You have 46 chromosomes? I was like, yes. I have 46 chromosomes right now. And the guy who said that men in Africa were sticking their junk in holes in the ground and stuff was growing.
And things were growing. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, like mold. Mold probably grew. You just dirty men. And what?
Where is this alternative biology being taught? Red Pill University. Those colleges, their graduation rates surpass women because they're all I clipped it. He said I posted it. I clipped it. He said, well, Denise, it's posted that in Africa men are sticking their junk in holes and stuff's growing. But if women did it, you come back and it just be dry.
Yes. Well, the new wave of STIs are growing. That's what's growing in that hole. Like our next, big thing to take us all out.
He said the ground. So like, okay, so doesn't grass grow on the ground anyway? So you're saying it's because he stuck his junk in there, not because it's the ground. That's why the grass is growing. Like it doesn't make any.
So now they grow grass, Angela. Now their dangler grows grass. They truly are miracles.
Yeah, that rainbow.
Yeah, I said that they think Yeah, they think rainbow shoots out of their dick, and it's like, taste the rainbow.
You know, Tina, I know when you say it can't be real, sometimes, no, not sometimes, like every day, at some point, I'm just like, what? Okay, okay, Shania.
You know how like you lay hands on people? They need to start laying danglers on people because now I'm
No,
thinking it might
no,
be able to heal people.
no,
Because
no.
Angela, no, it's miracle. It's Miracle Grow.
They're
It's
already
Miracle Grow
doing
now.
that.
But it
No,
has to be Miracle Grow.
some of these people are George Bush is to blame. Some of them are too old. Some of them are too old.
Some of them just they just
This
but I'm
one guy,
like,
he was
what if we're missing the
37.
secret of life, Angela?
This one guy was 37, and he said, "Well, why are you doing this?" I was like, "Because you thought until just now that the man had everything to create a human." So, I mean, I did not think that it was literally going to turn to a very basic Reagan ambush. Yeah, I did not think there was going to be a very basic science lesson. I just thought that it was. I didn't really think. I didn't like have an opinion as to why I thought they were saying it. I guess I did not really. I didn't realize that a lot of them don't really know how conception happens. Like what's taking place. Very basic, which is astounding.
So that night I decided to test a gentleman in my life because I was like, if he doesn't know this, I'm absolutely done. And anyway, I do this often after our lives, Angela. But I was like, so these guys, and of course I always am like doing it in a way where like so he can't like tell which way I'm coming from. So I was like, so these guys were saying that, they think that the fetus or the the little baby is in like the head of the sperm, and they said that they like fit into the woman. And he goes, well, wait, but doesn't the egg pick the sperm? And I was like, oh, okay, you passed that one. All right.
Well, that's good to know because there were men who were saying that because that one guy said, wait, that they used to think like hundreds of years ago that there was a little embryo in the head of the sperm. And he was like, well, isn't there? I was like, no. He's like, well, I think there is because look how it's shaped.
Yeah.
He was like, well, look how it's shaped. Yeah, I think that because how it's shaped. Like, why don't I understand? Like, why is it like we're living in the dark ages where we don't like these phones that we're using to be on this app? Oh, Doug always rolls his eyes at you when you say, guess what I heard today? These phones that we're using to be on these apps also have the capacity to look up this very basic information.
Right. Like the guy today when you were like, where in the Bible does it give the definition of submission? And he was like, I mean, I don't have it right now. He's like, I'm on my phone. You're like, well, that would be a good place to look on that computer in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, someone said they should have no problem getting the birth rates up. I agree because at this point, just plant the baby in the hole, Cabbage Patch, and then in 9 months, a Cabbage Patch will be born.
Oh yeah, just like I saw okay Mega saying male science for your male logic. Like just like if they had boy math, this is boy science. Because hey, six figure.
Hey. You know what I thought? I said, look, this is gonna be the rule for all the women now. Before y'all lay down, each man has to take a 10 question quiz on the cootie cat, okay? On the cootie cat, on the womb. If they don't pass that test, legs closed.
Yes. Because even to that point, like the men are like, oh, you're single, oh, you can't get a man. That's the easiest freaking thing to do. So easy. Now, a man who has morals and ethics and is kind and generous and forgiving and cares about you as a person, thinks you're a person, thinks you're equal to him, cares about your voice and autonomy and your future, that's hard. But a man, no. It's so risky.
Because why y'all giving them access to something they don't even know what it is? They don't even know what it is, how it even works.
Someone said, I can get a man when I can't get nothing else. That's the truth.
Yeah, and then have opinions on what women should be doing with their bodies. And they don't even know what's going on in women's bodies. And this one guy said, I can't even remember what the topic was because it wasn't the seed one because this was a while ago. But he said, well, I couldn't tell you what happens when women ovulate because I don't ovulate. I was like, we don't know what happens during ovulation because it happens to us. We know because of science. We can't see inside of our bodies to know exactly what's happening. We know because of science. Like, they teach these things. This is knowable information. There's lots of things we don't know. This is knowable. I looked it up the other day. They've known since, like, I think 1876 that the sperm fertilizes the egg. 1876, well within all of our lifetimes. Well within all of our, like, great grandparents' lifetimes, for the most part. This is not new information, yet they're calling me a misandrist for talking about it. Literally, I hate men and I'm a misandrist because I said that the sperm fertilizes the egg.
You know, I wrote to someone in the comments about that, Angela, because, you know, you get that a lot. Obviously, you hate men. And, you know, it was during the most friendly conversation that guy decided to say it that one time, which was really funny. But the thing is that I said to him, I said, no, this is painful to you because you're not used to knowing your place. And I don't say that in the way of like you're beneath anybody or like you're not worthy of like like I think men are worthy of autonomy and freedom, but I think women are worthy of autonomy and freedom. The problem is that you all have been put on a pedestal and now you have had an unrealistic expectation of what your life should be. So bringing you back to reality is painful, but it's not an injurious pain. It's a rehabilitatory pain because we have to go through that squeezing process of shrinking your head back to the right size, and it hurts because your head is too big. But it's not a pain that we're doing because we don't like you, and that's the part that they don't want to accept or understand, that when we say this is not your place, we're not relegating you to the dungeon. We're just saying that your place is beside us.
Yes. And yeah, and I said something similar, like, I think when I say that women are equal to men, and they say I hate men for saying that, I'm saying that's because they think that women are so beneath them that I must hate men to think that I'm just dragging them down to the depths of the earth where women are. Like, how dare you hate men so much that you'd say I'm equal to you? You're beneath me. Why would you drag me down? And it's like, no, well, one, we've always been equal. I'm not dragging you anywhere. But AEB said something similar, Gina. She said, they said, it's right sizing, not minimizing. And I think you had brought that up, that they said that. I don't know if they're there right now, but
yeah, AEB did. That was a whole sermon right there.
Yeah, and Pia, exactly. Equal doesn't mean identical. This is the struggle for them. It doesn't mean identical because there are no two identical people on the face of the planet. Even identical twins, they're two different people. Like, there are no two identical people out there. So when we're just talking about the realities of life, women are equal to men. Sperm is not the seed. It does not hold everything that it takes to create a human being. I'm not taking anything from you. I'm just stating facts. Yeah, AB is always dropping facts. I'm just stating facts.
When we talk about scaling, you know what I mean? The appropriate place for everyone is beside one another. And you would think that they could grasp this based upon the, slavery and all of that. Like we had to correct for the incorrect assumption that whitey people
were, better, more important, smarter than BLK people. So they had to be put in the right place because the right place was above, it wasn't on top, it was beside. So we know that we can do this. It's just men don't want to do it when it comes to women.
No. Because they think that, oh, AB is here. Technically, women are superior in most, almost every area, so we have no desire to use that as a weapon. I mean, I guess that's subjective in terms of what you think is superior, but even the thing is, even the women who do think that, or people, because there are some men who even think that, like you said, women don't use that as a weapon. Women aren't using it to try and take away men's rights or unalive them or do terrible things to them. Even the women who think that are still like, okay, I'm superior to you, but like, okay, we can live side by side. I'm not trying to take away your rights. Like, you should still be able to vote and everything. But men are like, no, you should be able to vote. You should be able to speak outside. You shouldn't be able to walk outside unescorted. I should be able to control who you talk to, what you wear, where you go, if you work, when you work, where you put your money, how much money you get to keep, everything. Like, I don't even understand the desire. That's why I say weak men want submissive women, because weak men desire to control people. Weak people desire to control people, but men are the ones who typically, want to control people and typically want to control women. Well, they want to control other men too, but that desire to want to control somebody is weak. It comes from an inferiority and insecurity. Or as Gina said, like, I don't know if it's maladaptive. I don't know if that would be considered maladaptive, but like something. Oh yes, thank you so much for the likes. Something is wrong that you want to control somebody. That period, because even children, hopefully, the desire is not to control them. It is, you don't know everything, but you know more than them because they're kids. So it's not a desire like, I'm going to control you and tell you what to wear, what to go, where to go, who to talk to, and some parents are like that. But that comes from like the need or that dynamic where you have authority, where you have control, where you have consequences, is because you're teaching them. And they need that. It's not coming from a desire to control who they are and everything that they do. Now, for real, some people want to control their kids and take credit from them. Yeah, and that's exactly what that guy was saying. That guy was saying, because when he was saying that women should submit to them because, like, it's basically, what are they getting out of the relationship if women aren't submissive to them? And I said, well, what are kids getting? What are you getting from kids? Like, why would you protect your child? What are you getting from your child? And he said, well, legacy. I'll grow up and maybe they'll be an NBA player, or I'll have a business and they'll like make it, better or something like that. And then that's when he got dropped, or I dropped him. I can't remember where he was going with the business part, but they try to control their kids in that way too, which is really sick. The people who have the kids and they already know what their kid's career is going to be based on what they want as like, what are you doing? Go ahead,
But Angela, look at this comment right here. It says it's user somebody, so I don't know if it's a troll. Submission isn't control, it's order. The problem is y'all don't understand basic vocabulary. Like, it's given fourth grade education. Because, sir, I'm going to assume it's a sir. Do you know what the word submission means?
Exactly.
And do you know what the word order means?
Exactly. That's what I'm looking up now, because that's not what submission does mean that. And two, order, the arrangement or disposition of people and things in relation to each other. An authoritative command. To request something to be made, supplied, or served. So I guess the first one, arrangement or disposition. So order, the order in which you are choosing to have a hierarchy. Oh, Mia, it was women should not submit to men in relationships. Oh yeah, Kung Fu Panda had to go. Oh yeah, I'm wrapping up now. We were talking about women not being women should not submit to men in relationships. But I am gonna do the seed one. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Well, I'll do a poll. Okay, so I'm gonna do a poll. Smiley face if you want me to do men don't carry the seed tomorrow. Frowny face if you want me to do something else. I'll just do something quick like that.
Oh, men don't carry the seed. Yeah, that's a live one. That's a live one.
Okay, so the poll is right here. Smiley face if you want men, if you want to be men don't carry the seed. Crying face if you want to be something else. I don't know what the something else is, but
Can I read a comment while the poll's going on, Angela? This is from Legendarial. She wrote, Eve was made from Adam's rib, but if he abuses the rib, it'll pierce his heart and end him.
wow, so true. Broken ribs take you out.
And so Legendarial, the broken ribs are extremely painful and they will take you out because your ribs are what protects your heart, which is obviously a vital organ. And there's also been people have like talked about the placement of, if you believe in the Bible, this is, if you don't know, no problem, but if you believe in the Bible, that people have theorized on the placement of, God taking it from his rib, not taking it from above so that she is not above him, and not taking it from below, like the foot or somewhere below, so she is not beneath him, but completely parallel to someone standing next to you. The rib is at your side. And the symbology of that, that placement, people feel, or some scholars have felt that that has a symbolic purpose.
Oh yeah, and Raindrop Spring said that you also can't breathe. We know somebody who broke some ribs and then his lung was punctured, and they also said, and the doctor can't set a broken rib. Been there. It takes forever to heal. Exactly. It takes forever to heal.
Yep.
It's very painful. So yeah, that's a really good point. I've never thought about that, Legendary. They always want to, whatever it is, they always want to frame it in a way that makes women less than men. So that's why whenever I talk about equality or attacking the patriarchal views or norms, that they think that I want to flip it. That if I say women should submit to men, oh, you think men should submit to women? Oh, you think women should lead men? Or you think women are more logical than men? I'm like, you guys are the ones who are so obsessed with competition. And the thing that is so disturbing is that a lot of the prompts I'm talking about are in relation to relationships, people you love. Why would you want to treat somebody you love this way? Why are you trying to dominate someone you love? Why are you trying to control someone you love? That's not love. I don't know what it is, but it's not love.
It's staking your territory. I think men are far more territorial than not than we know, because I think we know they are, but I think that it extends in very deep-seated ways, because I think that they feel like they can have that, I guess, like the bragging rights that they are submitted to. They are someone who is worthy of submission.
Yes, true. Yeah, Decenter Men said because they don't love women. I agree. And AB said because they dominate us so that we don't dominate them. I think that they don't care about dominating as much as they care about us not dominating them. I agree with that. I agree. Like I said, I think it comes from like an inferiority complex and insecurity. It's like, I got to be on top so that you're not on top of me. I think we're already threatened. The concept of us knowing it scares them. Yeah, I agree. And that's why they try all the different tactics to get us to stop talking about it. This is divisive. No one's going to want you. You're going to be single. Someone said the other day, I'm not going to experience children, whatever that means. Or, outright just being hostile, mean. They're escaping their mother's rule. It's individual. Go ahead, Six Figure.
That's like all in their head though. Because what woman have ever, like, I've never had a friend say, I want to get it married so I can dominate my husband. Like, it's all in your head, sir. You want to dominate us because you're afraid that we're going to dominate you. Meanwhile, that's not the topic of our conversations. Like, that's not what we're trying to do.
No. And then the way that they take any, like the guy who said, like, when women are, I can't remember who he said. Did he say opinionated, they're hard headed or something like that? Anytime a woman is asserts her opinion, expresses what she wants, pushes back on what he's saying, then you're combative. Then you're trying to control him. Then you're emasculating him. Then you're like all of these negative terminology just for like talking. Like, are we not in a relationship? Do you not care what I say? No, they don't. They don't care. It's so hard. Men hate themselves and are jealous of women, which is why they explain. I think they do. I spoke to my passport husband when I'm ready for another trip. I'm gonna cut the hand that feeds you. That's what men do. You know, the thing is that's a really good point. I think because that's how they've been taught to interact with women, and women have been taught to live with their hands being cut. Women have been taught to like blame themselves, blame other women. Like the woman who came up yesterday for the prompt, I can't remember what the prompt was. All these days run together. But she was blaming women for, what was the prompt?
Yeah, pick me up here.
Husbands are the real gold diggers. I did that, and then I can't remember what the other one was. But yeah, she was like, well, if women, she's like, I agree. But like if women, she kept putting it on women. I was like, no, men are behaving badly on their own. It doesn't have anything, oh, straight men don't like women. Thank you. Yes, straight men don't like women. And I was saying all the ways that men mistreat women. And she was like, well, if, you know, she did the single mother thing. You know, women raising boys, you know. And I was like, we're not talking about women. What we're talking about is the way that men are behaving. Men are behaving badly because they're depraved people. The ones who are depraved. That's why. It has nothing to do with outside influence. Well, I'm not saying that how they were raised doesn't impact who they are as people. But we're talking about adults who should be responsible for their actions. It has nothing to do with women. These are adults. Why are you blaming mommy for something a 40-year-old is doing? Or a 50-year-old or a 25-year-old? Like, these are adults we're talking about. You want me to believe that they can lead a family, lead their wives, lead their kids, have a job, do all of these things, yet you're going to blame another person for what they're doing.
Yes, Leslie wrote she said we needed to heal men. Like, basically we needed to help the men to heal.
Just need to heal. It's like, no, they're the predators. We need to heal because we're the ones who have been harmed by them. They do need healing. They do need stuff going on, but that's not for us to do. That's literally why we are where we are, because they've used women for emotional and physical punching bags for millennia. That is not, yeah, we can teach our children. Exactly. We can teach our children to be better. But the reality is also, once they leave your home, they're exposed to all the other influences from patriarchy that the boys and men around them are feeding them. But it's definitely a good start. And there are, and I said this before, you know, the men who seem to be receptive to my lives and stuff, they'll say, oh, I have a daughter, so, you know, I want to know how I should interact with her and do certain things and stuff like that. And like most of the men are like, I have a daughter, I have a daughter, I have a daughter, I have a daughter. When men who have sons think that this is important, because they don't want their sons to be the terrorists. They don't want their sons to be the problem. They don't want their sons. They know that this is wrong for the boys to behave this way. And they listen to what women and girls are saying. And then they change how they raise their sons. It's not only about controlling and protecting their daughters. It's about raising sons who will be good people. Then there will be a paradigm shift. But right now, it's still scapegoating everything on the women, on the girls. Protection, you know, all of those things, which are very important, but we need the boys to be raised differently. We need the boys, the fathers who care about teaching the boys, and not just that performative stuff with open the door and pay for dinner and tell her she's a princess and drive her everywhere and let her be the passenger princess. That's performative, because those men are going home, some of them are going home and knocking her head between the washer and the dryer. But he paid for the house and he paid for the washer and dryer, and he's cheating on her.
Yeah.
Who gives a crap?
Yep.
That he opened the door for her.
That's right. Like open the door for me and then like beat me up like later. Like what's I don't get that. Two comments. Okay, Meg wrote, which I thought was just a really beautiful way to put it. She said, I was not birthed by my beautiful mother to heal men. And I thought that was a very like poetic way to see that. And then J Hops in the comments. She's a mod in the comments, y'all. So thank you, J Hops, for all of your work today on modding in the comments. She wrote, remember the guy that said he agreed and disagreed because of his daughter.
Yep. Exactly. And then he was the one who went on to say that, you know, he protects, I guess, because of his daughter. Right? Yeah. He protects her because she'll be, well, though he was talking about son, so I guess she's not going to be his legacy. I don't know. He was so warped. And legendarily said, school education is also needed. That's so true. And I think that's why, like, people are talking about Reagan and Bush. That's why they're hitting education so much. They're taking away, like, you know, these rural schools. So many schools, you know, everyone does not get the same education in America, definitely. And it affects people. Because they're even trying to force high school graduates into, he said he doesn't want his daughter to be submissive, but wanted his wife to be. Exactly. My mom was a married single mother. It's so true. Yeah, exactly. There's so many married single mothers. They're trying to make it so that if high school students don't have like a trade school or a college to go to, that then they have to go to the military. They've always preyed on poor minority populations to enlist them in the military. But now they're trying to make it almost like there's a school to prison pipeline, the school to military pipeline. We aren't here to heal men. We're here to build empires to be unapologetically us. Exactly. I can't save them. We're not Jesus. And we're also saying that women are supposed to save them, but we're not capable of leading ourselves. You can't save another adult. You can't change. You can't make anybody change. How in
Saving
the
the
world?
people that's supposed to be leading is wild.
I mean, women have always been leaders, really. Women have always been leaders, just never got the title because of men's egos. But when you look at functionally what a leader is, women have always been leaders, functioned as leaders in society, functioned as leaders in their families, but just don't get the credit, the title, the accolades, and they can be steamrolled over when it suits them.
Yeah, HBIC wrote, I've accomplished more than most men I know. That's very true for a lot of women I know, to be honest with you. I feel like most women that I know, I won't say in the world, but it just seems to me, well, from what I have noticed, that most women have like a base level of kind of like where they are in the world, either just kind of like morally or financially or whatever it might be. There's kind of like this base level. I'm not talking about all women. We all know, you know, women who aren't doing what they're supposed to do, but I feel like we know more men who aren't doing what they're supposed to do than we know women.
Yeah, that's okay, Brandy. Thank you. I appreciate the likes. Yeah, exactly. And then we have somebody like the guy who was like third time, then he got dropped. Someone paid to drop him. Talking about women want strong, authoritative leadership. Like they tell themselves that so that they don't feel bad for being complete jerks.
He was just telling us about his wet dream last night.
It sounds like projection to me. Because if you want a strong, masculine, authoritative person in your life, you know, a man in your life like that, sir, just say that.
No shame in your game, but keep women out of it. Because, like, what the heck? No one's asking for. Like, the thing is, I'm always like, Who wants that? Kids don't even want that. Kids, so you want me to believe that now when a grown woman, an adult, wants a strong, authoritative man to tell her what to do? Nope, nobody on the face
No,
of the planet wants that. No animal
they
wants that.
always relate that. They always relate that to children, but like children are some of the most contrary, like disagreeable little humans in the world, and that is literally how we are all born into this world, because the instinct to fight has to be in us, or else we would not survive. If a child wasn't disobedient and didn't have a will, they would not fight for survival and then later be brave enough to become autonomous. That's why they call that, like the teenage years are really rough, because they're starting, well, around they call the terrible twos, because that's when the brain starts to really make shifts and identifying themselves as a different person from their primary caregiver, which is normally their mother. And then it happens over and over and over again up until the age of 25, where your brain finally actually fully develops fully. But if you were not just a rogue in some ways, you would never have the confidence to go out into this scary world and learn, find love, work and do these things that takes a lot of courage. And then you want a woman to go from having to do all of those things to being married to you, where she doesn't have a thought behind her eyes. It just doesn't make sense.
And also, it puts the man in a position which no man is capable of fulfilling, because men are not infallible. Men are not infallible. Men are not infallible. Men are infallible. I don't know what I'm saying. Men.
Yeah, you said it right.
Okay, men are not infallible. I'm getting tired. Men are not infallible. Men have limits. Men are human. They I mean, like, what makes you think, anybody, women or men, think that they are just like an endless resource of, energy, right decisions, know exactly what to do? They're not clairvoyant. So why would we say that even makes sense, that they are capable of making all of these decisions anyway? It doesn't make sense. So, like, even the women who are like, well, I just gonna sit back and rest in my feminine, I don't have to do anything. I just gonna not have to think or do anything. Only children have that have that privilege. And all children don't even have that privilege. So just sit back and not have to worry about everything. All of my needs are met. That's not the reality of being an adult. I don't even understand how even women who say that, how they could feel okay knowing that all the pressure's on him. You say you love this man and you think it's okay to put all of the pressure, all of the decisions about your family, all of the financial decisions, every decision on him. How is that? That's not realistic. That's unsustainable. That sounds miserable. And I don't think that's fair. I think that, that's the minority. Like, there are a lot of men who act like that's going to be the case, and in reality, the woman is the one who's doing most of the decisions, because that's just the way life is. But for the ones who really have this, idea that they're just like in this soft life area where, she's not even like the woman who was like not even tying her own shoes and stuff like that. Like, I don't even understand that. A men expert
Like,
doing
tie your darn shoes, girl.
Doesn't talk to the hostess and doesn't take her coat off. It's like, what, is he your servant or something? Like, what's happening here? It's like a weird, anyway. But I mean, I think that's the minority. Like, most people don't have that type of situation. Most are, the women are being completely taken advantage of, because they're giving up their autonomy, their agency, and they're working outside the home, and they're working inside the home, and they're submitting, and they're paying like half the bills. So I don't see what the benefit is. Yeah, she's his doll. That's just weird. But anyway,
what were the results? I didn't see the results.
It was really close. It went off. I can't remember, 16 to 15 or something. You told your partner you couldn't cook, you're the main cook. I tricked him. To do the seed, but I feel like most people, like, it was so close, I feel bad doing it again, because a lot of people didn't want to do it. So
mean, in fairness, it was only 15 people who didn't want to do it. It wasn't like 115.
True. Okay, well, so I guess I'll do that one tomorrow, and and then Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know. Tomorrow is the last day, not last day. And then I'll be OJB Social said the seed thing has been done too much. Women actually need to be pushed to put in work and invest, or they won't have that woman. I do believe that the way that they're set up, that they do have to, that like they don't. I don't want to say value because like women aren't a commodity or whatever, but it seems like the way that they're socialized or whatever, that whatever they put work into effort, whatever that looks like, and I don't think that that's a one size fits all. That then that's how they show that they're showing interest, but then even I don't even know, because even the ones who show interest, it's like they show interest long enough until they get what they want, and so men do value what they invest in. They need less access to women. I do 100% agree that they value what they invest in. I guess it's just a matter of knowing the man himself to see what is he actually after. Is he after you for, whatever you want in a relationship? Like if you want a long-term relationship, if you want marriage, or if you want something casual, if your desires align. And then if your desires align and he's like values you and he's working for it, then that seems like, there's no foolproof way. I don't always right. Yeah. But it's knowing, which is impossible to know somebody's intentions. But I think anyway, it's so hard because we're talking about people, and people change. And the thing is, people do change over time. I mean, especially if you're together for a long time. But anyway, I'm just kind of rambling. Go ahead, Gigi.
Yeah, and that's why you got to take your time, and vet people out. And that's not just romantic relationships. Obviously, that's friendships too. Before you go all in and tell people the secret to your, vault, you gotta make sure that they're worthy of that code. So I think it's good to take time, but then also that's why it's always good to make sure that you have something to fall back on, education wise, job wise, whatever it is, because people change. And if people don't change, situations change. And you could have a really good man and then something, God forbid, something happens to him. And that's never anything that I would wish on anybody, but it happens because we live in a scary world. So it's just not a good idea to turn your brain off, as I've heard women say, and just kind of like be in your, like you got to stay cognizant in this world. You know what I mean? And so it's just not advisable. Even if you truly know he will never leave you nor forsake you, you still have to make sure you always have the ability to care for yourself. That is your duty as an adult.
That is so true. Yeah, the turning your brain off and not having your own way to support yourself. Those are the things that men have been able to control women. And even if it didn't come down to the control, you don't know what's going to happen. Something could happen to him, And so it is important to always be aware, to not be in denial, and to just see things for what they really are, which it can be hard. But that is also why no fault divorce is so important, because things change. You can change, he can change, things, whatever, and you should have the right to leave a marriage if it doesn't work for whatever reason. And the reason that you stay should not be that you can't afford it. And that is the problem with the submission. That is the problem with these traditional relationships where the man is bringing all the money. Yeah, trust but verify. Where the man's making all the money because typically, he's not giving a woman like any type of stipend or anything. So she's not making her own money. So if the demise of the relationship, however that happens, she can't support herself. And then that's how men intentionally trap women in relationships, because they know they can't leave. They know they can't leave, especially, if you have children. The more children you have, and then you have to support them and all of that, it just makes it even harder. So women have historically been trapped in relationships because of finances. Trust behavior. Never trust a man. A man can switch up behavior at any time. That is so true, AB, because we have been taught to just ignore. oh well, he's having a bad day, or you got to be patient with them, or you know how he gets, or well, how he has a baby kept us up last night, and well, how he there are all of these excuses that we give them, and you're so right, AB. Trust
But
behavior, because that is indicative of how they feel.
but I mean, men don't change. Like that's the thing. They mask.
Mm.
Like, let's be honest. Like they don't change they're gonna mask as long as they can
Hmm.
before they feel like, oh, okay, I'm in there like swimwear. Now I can show my true self. By the time they do that, like you're already deep in with kids. And like you said, I'm a housewife now. I have a degree, but I don't have a job. I haven't worked in 10 years. Like that's the reality. And I feel like, and I don't know, I'm a little more radicalized than probably some of y'all in here. I don't know. But my thing is this: if you want to be married, just know what you're getting into. Because,
Yeah.
and I'm not married, but men don't get married for love. Like, y'all
Yeah.
gotta
A lot of them don't. Yeah.
stop that fairy tale Disney, you know, princess type of BS that Disney has fed us. These men do not. Marriage was never about love in the first place. You get what I'm saying? Men do not marry for love. They marry for convenience. They marry so that they can have someone to exploit. They want to exploit your labor. Like they want to take advantage of your resources. Um they want a
It's
better life for
cheaper.
themselves. You know what I'm
Yeah, it's
saying? Like,
cheaper than paying for Smex, a maid,
yeah.
a cook, a like all of that stuff. It's cheaper.
So
And,
that idea
and
of falling in
nowadays,
love,
women are paying like half the bills too. So like
yeah.
it works
So just
out.
know, yeah, just know what it is. Like y'all gotta stop with this. Oh, I want to be married. I want to have this fairy tale. I want to da 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 da. Da. Like, let's be honest. These men are not marrying for love, and that's the problem too. Because women are going into it with the mindset, "Oh, I just want to fall in love and have my soulmate." These men are not thinking about that. Like for real. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's
Yeah.
where women get trapped. So if you're gonna
Hmm.
get into it, you gotta get into it with eyes wide open, knowing what it really is, and then move accordingly. I've even had women nowadays that say, "Shoot, if I get married, I want my own room." I'm like, dang, y'all took it back to the what was it, the 50s or whatever, where the people, where the married people had their own beds. Like y'all done took it back. The women don't want to be bothered. They
Yeah.
want the convenience of it, but they really don't like y'all for real. Like,
No, most of them don't. And that's why I do the straight men don't like women, because most of them, and they are under the impression that they do like women, and women are under the impression that they like them because they want to sleep with you, they want to be around you, but it doesn't mean they like you. You can tell that they don't like you because of the way that they treat you. And I know, and some men are really good at pretending, and like somebody said about Nick Cannon, that he pretended to be who he knew the women wanted him to be. But and I think that that's one thing about that's good about bringing significant others, boyfriends, whatever, around family members or friends who you trust, because they can sometimes pick up on things that you may not see because maybe you're wrapped up and you think you love them or whatever. Um, because the mask will slip sometimes. It might only be for a little bit. And that's when you have like the women who are picking up on the smallest things. Like I saw this woman, not smallest things, but something that other women would excuse. This woman who said that she was talking to this guy. I don't know if they were dating or like boyfriend, girlfriend, but she was talking to this guy and he hadn't texted her in like 5 days or something. But she saw on Instagram he was looking at all her stories, but wouldn't text her. And she was like, okay, fine. So she unfriended him and removed him from her following list so he couldn't see her stories anymore. And then he texts her like, wait, why did you do that? Like what? And she was like, I'm not doing that. Like some woman would have been like, oh, well, maybe he was stressed, or maybe he was busy, or maybe, he didn't have enough, like whatever excuse that he was going to give, she'll be ready to be like, okay, that's fine. That makes sense. But like that could end up being something bigger down the line, you know. And it's like, you know what? He did that when we were first dating. He just like stopped talking to me for a week all of a sudden. So sometimes we make excuses for things because we want it to work. And sometimes it is what it is, that is who they are. Yeah, no excuses. Yeah, she was just like, yeah, that's not gonna work for me. And that's not gonna work for me. And because people, oh, you're so hard on him. You know, you just need to be just relax. Like, you know, so that's the thing about women. They don't understand. Men work, men are stressed, but we come home and we just want to do, you know, like whatever crap, whatever the excuse is. That's a red flag. So anyway, thank you everybody for being here. Yeah, don't relax and bling. Exactly. Thank you, Six Figure, for coming up. Thank you, Gigi. Thank you, J Hops, for modding in the comments. And thank you everybody for liking, gifting, sharing, and just being here. So I hope you guys have a great evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow.